Hey everybody, J-Man here for another Versus. We haven't had a Versus in a long time, so I thought, why don't I do a very, very difficult Versus, and that's Robocop versus Total Recall. Two mega classics from pretty much everyone on the panel's childhood, I think, or not childhood, but maybe adulthood or adolescence. So it's going to be really tough. We're going to do a space Versus, which I'll explain for anybody who's new. So I'm going to go through this real quick. This Monday, I'm going to be on Clobberin times. This is the B Monday of every month. So the second Monday of every month, I am on Clobberin times channel. We're on Earth B. We're talking some Bob Haney. It's the King Kirby's birthday month. So we're going to be doing Batman, the Brave and the Bold, number 112, where he teams up with Mr. Miracle. So it's Kirby tie-in. So that's this Monday. Every other Monday, we're doing the Legion of Superheroes live stream with Sean and Clobberin time. So that's every other Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. What else is going on? The next Friday is my birthday. So 1 week from today is my birthday. We're doing the Fourth World. So we're going through all of the Fourth World stuff, and that's going to be every Friday. And so next Friday is actually going to be the first of Jack Kirby's Fourth World, which is Jimmy Olsen. 133, 134, 135. 134 is the first appearance of Darkseid, who we got to see for 1 minute in Zack Snyder's movie. So we're going through that'll be every Friday. It'll be Fourth World Fridays until we clear the Fourth World, just Jack Kirby stuff. So nothing after that. I know John Byrne came in and all these other guys. We're not doing any of those. Just the Kirby stuff. Okay, so there's a huge panel today. So we're just going to get right into it. There is a poll, so please vote for your favorite movie. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So let's get it going here. Let's bring in our regulars.
All
right. Are you ready? I was wearing a shirt today of somebody from one of these two films. I thought, oh no, that could subliminally trigger people to vote for that. So I said quickly, I changed to the Legion of Substitute Heroes because the substitute heroes are the best.
Just behind the scenes, J-Man sent the link for this at like 8 a.m. So he's super.
I woke up this morning. I was like, I can't
super
excited. I know. Normally I send the link 2 minutes before we start. I was like, we start when we start. It is what it is. I woke up. I was like, oh shit, today's the day. I talked to Steve privately. We've been going back and forth. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah. I might be a bit of a dick tonight and go last on a couple of these things just to see where everyone else is at. So
I got up groggily and I got prepared for work. And I look at my phone like, what the hell?
The link is there, buddy. You gotta let's get this shit going here. All right, let's bring in our other regular. Hey, what it is.
I know what Sean was saying because I got the same thing. I'm like, shit, is it on at 9 a.m.?
I changed it. You gotta do it now. Get up. I don't want you to have time to think about it. You gotta just get up and go with your gut or whatever. Sean, why do you have what is that? The creature? Is that the Fathoms? What did you have there?
Guess what movie that creature's from?
I miss it. Well, it looks. Oh man, I don't know. Is it a Harryhausen?
It looks like a Harryhausen.
It's one of the movies that we're doing tonight.
Oh my gosh! Oh yes, okay, yes. Okay.
It was like this is a random shot from one of the movies, and I'm like, no one's gonna get it.
Oh my god, that is awesome! That is awesome. Yeah.
Anyway,
all right, let's bring in our regular Versus. So we have someone who does the Versus with us all the time. So he is back, of course.
I was in the background screaming the 6,000 SUX.
Yeah, this is
6,000 SUX. I knew what it was.
Once we get everybody on, I'm going to explain about that because RoboCop has many levels of entertainment. Every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, I never got that before. All right, let's bring in one of our special guests. We've got 3 special guests today, and this is someone who. We're on their channel more often than not, if not every time they do a stream, and that is Owen from the Action Elite. So let's bring him in.
Oh, if it works, I'd be by myself. And yes, I was also thinking it's a 6000 SUX.
I know, Tim.
He gets back. Come on.
Come on. All right. So now we have. He is back. We haven't seen him in a while. We usually get together for the comic book streams, but he's decided to come in on this one, and we're going to give him the special intro. My favorite movie of all time. Here we go. With the sword.
What's up, guys?
Hey. All right. And we have one more. It's not enough. They're like, can 6 people do it? It's like, no, it's got to be 7, because the thing is, if we tie it all up, right, we need to make sure that we don't tie on this one.
That's right.
So let's see I've got it.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Hey, I have to say, gentlemen, I'm really excited to talk about Robocop 2014 and Total Recall 2012. So, which we all know are the supreme movies out of the two. So we know for a fact.
So what was that? So Brennan has to get going. Oh, dude, that sucks. You know what? That's
watch those two. I totally watched them. It's on Tubi. It's fine.
We could do that. We could do that versus right now. The winner is nobody.
Yeah, we all lose.
There's only
Whoever wins, we lose.
Only lose. We should do RoboCop 3 versus RoboCop remake. That would be interesting. But I wouldn't care. Like I would say RoboCop 3 is better because it has a ninja in it.
Two? Don't you have 2 ninjas?
Oh, they have 2 ninjas.
Is it 2 ninjas? I think it is, right?
I think
3?
there's 3 ninjas.
Oh,
right?
3. Oh, yeah.
Okay, then it's all easy win right there. Ninjas always trump
I haven't
everything.
watched that movie recently or anything, so it's totally fine.
And part 3 has a man named Ripped Torn.
Oh, yeah.
Ripped Torn. Lewis dies though, but Lewis dies in 2014 too. So,
man, when I saw that part 3 in the theater, that was my first RoboCop in the theater. I was so excited to go because I couldn't see part 1, didn't see 2, and then I was so pumped. And I walked, I was like, "What the hell happened?" I was okay with no Peter Weller. I was like, it doesn't matter to me. RoboCop's the guy, you know. Oh dear. I was like, this can't be happening now. Like what? And I thought it was weird because I thought I shouldn't be allowed to see this. Like, you know, you've got that thing where you're like, should I be allowed to see this? Because they carded us at Time Cop. They're weird about it at Time Cop. My buddy worked at the theater and he let us in. He actually just like snuck us in. We paid for it, something else, whatever was out. And we snuck in. I thought I'm getting hassled for Time Cop. Like, there's no way I could see RoboCop 3, but it's like, oh, no problem. It's like, yeah, because it's a kids movie basically.
yeah, it's PG-13 here is what we ended up with. So
I think it was PG in Canada. Our rating system's lighter than yours.
it was the live action cartoon. That's all RoboCop 3 was. You know,
Yeah, it wasn't anything special. RoboCop 1 was the messed up one.
Oh yeah,
I think most of us were about 12 when that came out, and as soon as it, like in the very beginning with the Ed 209, but even then later on with that thing, I'm just like, I should not be watching this. I'm too young. I'm too innocent to watch this.
Right. Charlie got so freaked out he left.
Yeah, he couldn't take it.
I don't know what happened there.
No, he heard we were talking about the actual RoboCop and Total Recall. He's like, he actually said he was out, so he's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I just want to talk about remakes. It's like, I don't know. All right, well, we'll go through real quickly because we've got a lot of people and got a lot of stuff to go through. Just super quick, your relationship with RoboCop and Total Recall. So, Steve, why don't you go first? Because you've done this a few times. So, RoboCop, Total Recall, go.
I saw neither in the theater as a child, so of course I think I was 10 when RoboCop came out. I was 14 when Total Recall came out, I think. Saw them both the old-fashioned way, and I do mean the old-fashioned way. Rented at the VHS at the movie store on VHS and watched it. Both movies were terrific. Even as a kid, I knew it. I remember RoboCop really freaked me out when I first saw it. I swear to God, that movie scarred me. Like seeing, the RoboCop character get killed, within the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, he's dead, and he gets killed in a brutal way. I was just like, I was so pissed. I was like, man, he's got to come back and get vengeance. And then and Sean and Jay have heard me say this a million times. When that guy got the toxic waste all over him, and he's like, ooh, I'm like, yeah, this is crazy, man. Actually,
Awesome.
that wasn't the thing that really freaked me out. It was freaking Clarence Boddicker's death, like the spike to the throat. I was like, that's brutal, man. It's crazy.
He deserved worse.
He did deserve.
Yeah, I almost felt like, was this like not enough? All right, so you saw both on VHS.
Yep.
You loved both.
And then Total Recall, I actually started watching at a neighbor's house. I had to leave before the movie's over, which pissed me off. I remember my neighbor was laughing his ass off at the booger, right? Like the thing and the bug in his head that is like bringing out the nose, and he was just
yeah.
But that movie was genius, and you could tell that right off the bat. Like that movie is just, you just sit down and watch and you're entranced. So both movies I saw pretty much not long after they came out, when they were on VHS.
Okay. Sean?
I didn't see either in the theater as well. I saw them both on VHS. Robocop, I think I experienced that first at recess, when kids that saw it were like, of course there's a congregation and everyone's around them and they're telling the story of Robocop. And it sounds like a fever dream, because it's like, it sounds like the dangerous movie you want to watch, right? Like the guy, especially the guy who turns into toxic waste and like turns into a puddle on the windshield, right? Yeah. And through the years, like, I saw that and of course got into Robocop 2. Loved the Marvel comics, like the ongoing series. I love those. And so yeah, that's my Robocop. And Total Recall, I saw that on VHS. When the movie came out, I bought the DC comic. And I remember when I bought it at the Max Milk in Scarborough, there are these two older kids that saw me buying it, and then they started talking about, like, one guy saw it, and one guy's like, oh, I sparked conversation by purchasing this thing, and one guy's like, oh, how is it? He goes, it's freaking awesome. And he went out. He's like, you have to go. Well, you haven't seen it, So I was like, oh my god, this sounds awesome too, right? So yeah, I mean, it's I don't know why. Like for Total Recall, I was watching movies in theaters, and I don't know why I didn't see that one. But anyways, yeah. So mostly it was like the Recess Hushed Whispers. Oh my god, this is awesome. And for Total Recall, it's the comic. I read that before I even saw the thing. So yeah,
awesome.
There's no three blue lady in it. So yeah.
Right. hey, Nerd Man. Okay, Nerd Man. Once we do our thing, I'll shoot you a link if you're still awake in your neck of the woods, and you can pop on and make your case. Thanks for being in the chat, Richard. Thank you so much for being in the chat. You thought it was Robocop versus Terminator. That's a video game, but that would be interesting. You have your thoughts there too regarding this? Yeah. We could do it. Robocop versus Terminator. Robocop versus Terminator versus Total Recall. The too many verses. Okay, Owen, what's your kind of experience with both movies?
Well, I grew up with both on VHS. Total Recall in the UK was an 18, so I didn't get to see it in the cinema. But I think my brother Ed bought it for me, and I had like the posters in my room and everything. And like my buddies would come over and we'd watch Robocop all the time. The toxic waste scene, we'd all be cheering. It's funny. It's like people are supposed to be like shocked at that, and as kids we were like, "Yeah, this is awesome." We just loved all the violence and everything else. But to me, Robocop is a perfect film. There's nothing that bothers me about it, but we'll get into that later. Same with Total Recall. This is really hard. Like, how can I choose twixt these two titans of action? It's like really not going to be easy, but I do love them both. Like Total Recall had a huge effect because it's impossible to talk about taking 2 weeks vacation without going 2 weeks. Like, that's just what you have to do. So both are very close to my heart. I love them both. I think I've watched Total Recall more times. There's something about Total Recall. I could just watch it all the time. It's my second favorite Arnie movie. So two classics. So yeah, this is tough, but I think I know what I'm going to choose.
Okay, cool. Bill, did you see that in the theater or no?
No. Nobody saw it in theaters, dude. That was the only way to really bypass any of those laws at the time. Like I said, no 12-year-old should have been watching that. There were two things that I was just thinking about that while everybody was talking. Two things that actually changed my life at 12 years old that ended my innocence and brought me into manhood. One was kissing a high school girl deep throat on the railroad tracks not too far behind my home. The other one was watching Robocop. I'm dead serious. Like, that was there was something so wrong with that movie watching it. I'm like, oh my God, I never thought about somebody getting their hand blown off. I never thought about the whole toxic waste thing. God forbid, Toxic Avenger, like what, the very next year or something like that. There was so many crazy things in that movie, dude, that by the end of the movie, though, I remember I left my friend's house and I'm thinking the whole night about this movie. And I started thinking about, what about the future? What if there really are going to be evil robots that are going to run around that are supposed to be protecting us, but they'll kill us in a heartbeat? Like, that movie was terrifying to me as a kid, dude. It was not right.
Yeah.
And I would like to also point out, very few of us are even mentioning Total Recall at this point. That was just a really thought-provoking movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Brennan, what about you? Did I show you those, or did you see those on your own? I can't remember.
I was as you guys were talking, I was just trying to figure out if that's what's happened, because I used to work with Jay, and he used to give me VHS and DVDs every week or every day, and I'd have to watch them. It was like homework. If I saw Robocop in theaters, I have to question my parents' parenting ability, because it was in '87, so I was only 4, so there's no way I could watch it in the theaters. But yeah, Robocop. Oh man, that when Murphy gets his hand blown off, that shotgun scene is one of the most gruesome, over-the-top, violent scenes, I think, maybe in like big budget cinema history, because it's so visceral and so angry, and the guys just don't give a fuck, man. They're just shooting him, and he's in so much pain. And like, I watched it the other day in preparation for this. I'm like, wow, it still bothers me, and I'm 40, and it still bothers me that this guy is getting his face blown off, and these guys are just enjoying it like it's a normal Tuesday. Like, it's absolutely incredible. But with regards to Total Recall, it's one of my go-to movies by far. I can watch that movie every single day and never get bored and just enjoy it, because it's just so much fun. It's just fun. And like you guys were saying, there is some thought to it. That it's deeper than just people getting shot and Arnie doing Arnie stuff. If I can suggest, Jason, if we can change the S to Squibs, which movie had the best squibs? Because we have Robocop, that scene where he's getting shot up, and then there's the guy on the escalator in Total Recall. He's getting shot up. Squibs are just going off. Who has the best squibs for a Verhoeven film?
Yeah, Verhoeven had the best squibs ever.
Oh, he was the king of squibs. Yeah. King of squibs. No one did it better than Verhoeven, man. No one. He was the man.
Someone define squibs. I get
it's the blood packs. The blood packs when they explode. Instead of like CGI now, it was like actual. They had like
real back then.
Buttons, and there's and it was like actual blood packs shooting out.
That's why it looks so good.
Yeah, because it's real.
Charlie just messaged me. His computer just for some reason started restarting and doing a whole reboot. So hey, Skeptic, man, haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Slade, what's going on? You saw 13th birthday. That is awesome. That's awesome.
Pretty awesome, yeah.
Okay, so for me, try to comprehend this for a second. The first 2 movies I ever rented on VHS, and I watched them in the same day. Just think about how amazing this day was. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and Robocop. First 2 movies I rented. That is Kalima, and I'm like, we walked out. We're like, I don't know what movie was better, but I know what my 3 favorite movies are: Conan the Barbarian, RoboCop, and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
What was the name of that little kid in Temple of Doom?
Short Round.
What if Short Round was in RoboCop?
Oh my God,
that's what I'm talking about. The ultimate movie.
He's back.
I'm sorry. What's up? Holy shit! That happened out of nowhere.
Yeah, so I saw it on VHS, loved it, like superheroes, like comics, watched the cartoon as well, bought the toys. I still have my Ed 209 toy from when it came out. I had the RoboCop toy from when it came out. I lost it somewhere. It's gone. But my Ed 209 I still have. RoboCop 2. So Kane, like the machine RoboCop 2, is like my favorite robot. I love the RoboCop universe. Total Recall. Yeah, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie has.
Sorry, go Jay.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Charlie has everything.
Charlie has. What do you? He's reaching. I'll get to him in a second. So Total Recall I saw on VHS. Yeah, I've got. I don't have the big one. I have the smaller one. Yeah.
Oh, it's cool.
I love.
The
Kane,
heck is that?
I love Kane.
That's
They have it at Gotham Central.
Wow.
Do they?
Yeah, they have it at Gotham Central. Yeah.
Okay.
If you have a Google Home, like the little puck, you can actually get a 3D printed schematics to have an Ed 209. So the thing it sits on top, so it looks like an Ed. It looks exactly like that, but it's the Google Home is on the top. It looks legit, man. It looks sick.
These are the only spies I have in my home.
Comic
Yeah,
Cap. what's
none of
going on,
mine
dude?
talk. Well, actually, hold on. This does talk. Where's the button? I don't even know if you guys can hear that.
We can.
Yeah, I can
kinda
barely.
make it out. We can make it
Yeah.
out.
The good
Yeah.
old days when you made kids' toys from R-rated movies.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the old one, you could put caps in it, and you would.
Yeah,
flip
I
the
had that
thing.
one.
I had that. I still have that in the.
There was a glow in the dark RoboCop. There was, I mean,
Yep.
tons of stuff.
Yeah, so Total Recall I saw on VHS, and I loved it. As soon as the music started, and it's like, and the way they're doing the credits with like the coming down, and it's like Total Recall. It's like, oh, this is so cool, and the whole thing, like, oh, was it a dream? Was it fake? Did it all that stuff? So that was really exciting. All right, so Charlie, real quick, what was your? We were just talking about how we first saw it. Each movie. Real quick.
Each
Yep.
movie. Total Recall, my dad hid from me for a long time, even when I was
Same.
watching action movies. So it was actually one of the first ones I snuck because he owned it. So summertime, middle of the day, I'd watch Total Recall. It's bloody as all hell, 3 boobs. I mean, everything a teenage boy loves. And RoboCop, I was watching on YouTube while my flipping computer was doing its thing. I was too young. I was like 8 when it came out in the theater, but it is my strongest memory of walking into our local mall and seeing that cardboard stand up as you walk through the doors promoting the movie. It was almost as tall as me, of him just stepping out of that car.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you're glued to it. Every kid, it was an adult movie, but that imagery was what every kid loved. I mean, there's a reason RoboCop is with me always. So I don't know, who I'm voting for to win, but yeah, RoboCop has just always been. I mean, as soon as I could watch it on television, it was RoboCop, RoboCop 2, loved them. Remembered when RoboCop 3 came out, was super excited, just like J-Man, like, what the fuck is this? Really cool that he had detachable parts like the toys, and he could fly and all this other stuff, but it was just like, nah. And then I tried the TV shows and went, I don't like the TV shows either, so I'll stick with 1 and 2 and go from there. But that's a little bit of my history on it, so we don't make it super long.
Cool. Okay, so we're going to do this using my space system: story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. I say this in every video I've got. Normally I rate them and give them a score out of 10. We're not doing it. We're not doing a score today. What we're doing is a versus. So we're going to say story. Which one had a better story? Total Recall or RoboCop? Really quickly, why? Pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. We're going to figure out. I'll tally it all up. Keep a note. I got a notepad open. We'll see which one wins that way. There is so far 9 votes. There are 9 votes so far. So guys, if you're in chat, please make sure you're voting on this. We want to see where you guys are at in the chat. So 9 votes. We've got 67% are with RoboCop. So RoboCop is in the lead right now with, I guess, 6 votes. So let's see where it goes. I already have a few people who are messaging me saying, "What are you talking about? Total Recall's way better. Are you crazy?" So let's see what happens. Okay, so for the first one is the storyline. So which movie had the better storyline? Does anyone have a for sure answer that they know? Steve, yeah, Steve is always the first one.
Make that bullet, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does too.
Yeah, let's go, Steve. You're the best.
Bullets, man. I would both bet for this for J-Man stream.
Okay, so let me think. Which one? I think I know which one you're going to say, but let's see where it goes. What do you think, Steve?
RoboCop.
I guessed wrong. All right, what happened?
This had a lot of thought. Now you have to understand, this was based on a story by Philip K. Dick, Total Recall. It's hard to go against that. Though, to the credit of the filmmakers, they then, you can buy it wholesale. It's not that long. J-Man, lent it to us.
Loaned it to you, yes.
We
It's like 15 pages or something.
Yeah, it's not that long. So credit to Total Recall's writers for crafting that entire movie and story from a very short like source material. But here's the thing.
Not to interrupt you, but just so people know if they haven't, the story ends basically when he comes back from Recall and his friend, and he's like, "Oh, you went to Recall, all that," and his wife attacks him and everything. From that point on, it pretty much ends. That's the end of the story, because his mind is like, because he's alive, he's literally saving the planet, because these aliens that were going to nuke the planet. And because they encountered him, I don't remember exactly the details now, I've read it a long time ago, but somehow just him existing is saving the planet. So he chooses to have his memories wiped because they're tracking him. The tracker, he doesn't actually pull it out in the story. They find him and they tell him what's going on. So he's like, okay, I'll forget. That's it. So literally from that point on is all Paul Verhoeven and whoever the guys were. So all right. Just so people know what's going on with that. All right, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah. So anyhow, with Total Recall, it's a great story, but RoboCop gives you a little bit more. It actually builds themes out, and it gives you a different world, even though it looks very much like our world. So when you're building a story, it's easy when you're setting it somewhere else, because I don't know what Mars is. I don't know. And then you build that thing, you build that whole little colonization there. It's a little bit easier to do. RoboCop is basically, it looked like 1987 Detroit, but it was future Detroit. And it's talking about the commercialism of the 80s and the greed and the all that stuff. I think the story and the world was more recognizable and immersive that way, and I think they built it out a little bit more. I think Total Recall, it was a fun movie. It's inarguably a fun movie, but I think RoboCop was a serious movie. I think he was really trying to say something about the world that we were living in the 80s at that time, and where we're heading. And to me, it's a little bit more, I don't want to say like important, but weighty. Right? It's on you a bit more. Every piece of that movie follows along to, when he goes back to his old house, and it's like, you can sort of see this is where, they think we're going, that sort of thing. There's a little bit more to it. Recall, not quite. Right.
All right. So we got one for RoboCop for story. Let's go. Well, Owen, how about you? You want to, what do you think's better?
Yeah. Okay, can you hear me okay? Yeah,
I can hear you.
Okay, good, because my webcam, other one died there. But anyway, I actually have to agree with Steve. I'm going with RoboCop here. As much as I love Total Recall, RoboCop has the satire of like the whole corporate America and Reaganism and all that stuff from then. But you've also got a kick-ass action movie as well. But like Steve says, it has something to say, and it's not just there just for mindless entertainment. Whereas Total Recall doesn't really have any of the satire or anything to it. It's just, it has some cool things, some sort of philosophical things you could ask. How do we know we're not a dream or whatever? But I definitely think RoboCop has the better story for me. So there you go.
Okay. All right. Let's go. Bill, what do you think?
Well, the exact opposite direction. So I think that RoboCop was visceral. I think that it had a lot of, in your face, boom stuff, but realistically, the story was, look, the overarching message of, oh, look, this is, there's a metaphor there, what I'm saying? But for all intents and purposes, it was a very straightforward story. There was zero sense of urgency in that movie, as far as I was concerned, right? It was about trying to, both of them were about trying to unlock your memories, unlock your past, right? In some regard or another, which I love that comparison, but there was no sense of urgency in RoboCop. With Total Recall, that was brilliant as far as I'm concerned. Even had a better remake. But I'm going to stick with the Arnie one. but like all of this stuff in that, like there was definitely a sense of urgency. The guy was being tracked, even after he wasn't being tracked and he was able to go where he was going. They were still waiting for him and looking for him. You had no idea that big fat chick was actually Arnold in there. All of the crazy stuff that's happening when all of a sudden he pulled out the one device. He's like, what is this? And it starts replicating his image, his mirror image.
Cool,
like there was so much crazy stuff. All right. And look, you guys have already commented on the idea that it was a dream within a dream, or was it not? Hey, how do I know this isn't just a dream? I don't know. Kiss me before it's before you wake up. Like stuff like that was really brilliant. Seeing like his wife turn on him and stuff like, you never knew what was going to happen next. You were on the edge of your seat the whole entire time, just going like, holy crap, what the heck's going to happen now? And trying to follow along. And it was actually, to me, there was a lot to think about there. And I love that idea. You know, also, of course, the elusive, you know, is there something else out there? And when you saw that there was the alien device, the Nightcrawler looking hand on the thing, I'm like, huh, so there actually are aliens? That's weird. They're not just mutants. I loved how much I could think about that movie.
All right. Okay, Total Recall. We got more polls. We got 11 votes now, 64% Robocop. So Robocop is still in the lead. For some reason, StreamYard, I clicked one comment, it just keeps coming up. So I'm going to try to be very careful with this, but I am looking at the chat, guys. So I'm trying to read everything in the chat. All right. So Brennan, what do you think? Robocop or Total Recall for the story only?
Oh, this is like you guys are saying. This is such a tough choice. I went in. RoboCop's not my go-to, like I said in the beginning. I have a lot more connection with Total Recall, but rewatching RoboCop on like Tuesday, I'm gonna have to go with. I was gonna pick Total Recall, but I'm going with like Steven and you guys, man. You guys, it's right. There is a lot more, I feel, substance, and it's more grounded in a reality that I can more connect to. And I connected more with Murphy than I did with Arnie's character in Total Recall. And it's just the way that Verhoeven set the world up in RoboCop really brought me in more than I expected to when I rewatched it for the first time in quite a while. And yeah, I'm gonna go with RoboCop, not to take anything away from Total Recall, because yeah, like everything you said, Bill, like you're nailed it. It's an excellent movie, and it keep me on the edge of my seat. But I think at the end of the day, it does come down to what are you in the mood for type thing. But this is a versus, so I am going to go for RoboCop and change my original thing that when I came in on Tuesday thinking it was like for sure this is Total Recall's going to. I'm giving it twos across the board. Like it's going to win everything.
Right.
But Total Recall, I can see is going to come up ahead in some of my other predictions. But right now for story, I'm going with RoboCop.
All right. Okay. I'll go next. I feel this is weird. I feel that Total Recall has a better story, but RoboCop has better plot. But the plot in Total Recall is still really good. And I feel that RoboCop has more rewatchability because Total Recall, once you know how everything is going to play out, you know how it's going to play out. So it loses a little bit of that. But when you're watching it for the first time, Total Recall is way better. So this is where I was torn. It's like RoboCop feels more rewatchable because of the story. It's easier to get into. But Total Recall, that first time, you're like, oh my God. Because what I do is I watch it with people who have never seen it before. And I experience it again through their eyes. And when I watch RoboCop with someone who's never seen RoboCop, they're like, that was awesome. But when you watch Total Recall with someone who's never seen it, they're like, holy crap, this is like edge of your seat. Like, what is going to happen? Like, they don't even know what's going to happen at the end. I feel like after, like, while the credits, I'm like, no, I need more story. Come on, tell me what's going on. You know, I need more. So RoboCop's like a comic book character, though. That's the thing. So, but we're going to save that for when we get to the characters. I'm gonna go with Total Recall. Philip K. Dick is a bloody genius, and I don't care if they used his entire "We Can Remember It For You" wholesale story, and then they expanded on that. To me, reading that story made Total Recall's story even better because someone's like, well, what happens if he doesn't take the deal and he goes to Mars and tries to escape and tries to liberate everybody? I just think it's just too awesome. I feel like RoboCop is something that, like, it's, I don't want to say it's not generic, but it's just like, well, the cop's killed and he becomes a machine. It's like, okay, it's not as crazy as Total Recall, where I literally didn't know. I feel like I am Schwarzenegger. Like, I'm like, when he opens up the briefcase and it's him talking, that's the goddamn best thing ever. Like I don't care. That is the best. They copied it in Maximum Risk, and it was the best thing in Maximum Risk as well. Anytime you're talking to yourself, that's a guarantee. There's like any movie where someone talks to themselves, it would have to really shit the bed for me to not like it. I love when there's messages from yourself. You're like, oh, don't do this. You're like, oh. So I got to give this a Total Recall, man. Like, I don't know. It's just too awesome. I do agree though that RoboCop, it's easier to rewatch and you can just get into it quicker. And you're just like, yeah, I can just watch this movie. It's really cool. I like the story it plays out. There's themes, right, with the humanity and, you know, and all that stuff, and with his wife. And then there's all the satire and the corporate stuff's great, especially since a lot of us are in the corporate environment. And you're like, yep, that's exactly what happens. Someone just gets killed. And like, oh, well, we got to continue our business. So
we're doing that right now.
Yeah, Jay, I'm totally with you. Like, I think RoboCop, overall, I don't know. We'll see what at the end of this thing. But I definitely would watch Total Recall a million times before I would watch RoboCop. But since we're focusing on just this strictly one aspect, because there's so many other things we're going to talk about, right?
Yeah.
This is just like the story for me was RoboCop. Anyways.
Yeah. No. And I love both movies. They're both kind of.
Oh, they're both amazing.
I can watch any one of them right now, and I've seen them all. I've seen them all multiple. I think I've seen one a little bit more. That's going to come to the enjoyment factor, where I'm just going to pick which one I enjoy a little bit more because I've seen it more. That's really going to be my.
I think we're going to be in agreement there. I think
that's the only way you could do it. Like if I can't rate them, like to me, Alien is 10 out of 10. Aliens is like 9.5 out of 10. So Alien's better for me, but this is 10 out of 10. So how do I weigh it out? I just going to say like I watched this more, right? Like that's going to be it. Anyways, we'll get to that. Okay, so what do we got, Charlie? What about you?
I'm glad you said all that, because when we're talking about this, which is better, if we actually did your space scale, we're talking 0.5, 0.25s.
Yeah.
We're literally splitting hairs, picking which is better. And I'm torn on this part too. I've been torn all day, but I'm going to lean towards the Total Recall. And I'm going to say a little bit different of what J-Man said. To me, the movie has high rewatchability for me, because after I watched it the first time, I went, now I'm going to watch it a second time and I'm going to see everything I missed.
That's
now
a good
I'm going
point.
to watch it a third time and see, okay, what did that little part mean? And the best part is that's how this movie was designed. There is no answer to Total Recall. Verhoeven is like, it's whatever you want it to be. There are clues, but clues lead you one way or the other. Either it's a dream or it's not. Even the fade out to white, that's kind of a, everyone takes that as the big one, that's a lobotomy. That's why it doesn't fade to black. But there's so many other things that tell you, no, this is actually real and happening. That's good storytelling, is if whenever you're at the end of that book going, what the hell? I need to read it again and read it again. And RoboCop is a fantastic story, but you nailed it. It's a classic story. It's exactly what I expect. It hits all the notes, good cop, he dies, we resurrect him. I'll be the one to say it. There is a lot of biblical influence in RoboCop with the resurrection and everything else and being a savior at the end of the movie. But both movies deal with corporate America. We can't just put that on RoboCop because Total Recall is fully about corporate America making money off of tritium, air and tritium for the wars on Mars.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the people be damned. RoboCop is, we need to build Detroit bigger. The little people be damned. We're going to just do whatever we can do to make money. So it's a very Verhoeven kind of way of doing things, But yeah, I think by a sliver, Total Recall is going to get it on story for me.
Okay, Sean, you're the tiebreaker. Oh my God, there's already.
Sean, don't mess this up, Sean.
Dun, dun, dun. I went back and forth on this. I think story is the worst one of these, really, and we're leading up with it. So,
yes,
that's how space is spelled. So,
I try, man.
That's how it's spelled. This is just how the cookie crumbles.
Listen, that's University J-Man talking. He came up with it and thought, "Oh, space! That sounds cool." And it's like that's what it is.
Really trying to spell space. He's like, story.
It's not like Shield. Where they said it's like in the show he's like Shield. I don't even know. Strategic.
Yeah, someone really wants to spell.
It sounds like somebody really wanted to spell out the word Shield.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
man.
Here we go.
I'm gonna go with Total Recall. As
Oh, okay.
the best.
That
Honorable
Brennan
mention
left.
that
I'm out of here. Peace. Later.
Wow, this can't be happening. Oh my God! Like really?
You lousy bunch of bleeding hearts. You're not going to intimidate me. I'm entitled to my opinion.
Damn right.
More than 12 angry men about
That was
that.
good.
I got a 12 Angry Men in there. I was so
I
happy.
like that one.
Look, man, RoboCop has they have great stories. They both do. I mean, it's not like one's the crap one or anything.
Right.
RoboCop has great themes and stuff that are articulated like brilliantly. I mean, like all the the Yamaha heart always gets to me. It's like, and it looks like a big funky ass thing.
Right.
It's
Detroit. They make everything big and bulky.
Yeah.
That's what they didn't understand.
Well,
The
even
people-
like RoboCop. Well, we'll
RoboCop's
get
a
to
big,
art
huge-
later.
Yeah,
But,
okay, we'll get to it. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I love all the and I love the idea of the cops being a corporation. It makes so much sense, and it's kind of like, well, maybe it kind of is now, but it's not called that, that sort of thing, right? But yeah, and all that, and the conclusion of RoboCop is great. It dovetails all the themes into one thing, like he has to fire the guy for him to shoot him, and then when he asks him what his name is, he's like, it's Murphy, and instead of RoboCop, right? That's all great. Total Recall is great too. I think it gets the edge because it's brilliant in how it sort of like is ambiguous throughout. And it does have themes of its own, but they're more subtle, like about colonialism and authoritarianism. Mars's landscape and its environment sort of breeds all the problems it has. And then at the end of the movie, what if you open it up more? Then you can't control them as much. I mean, the one guy cuts off air in one place. It's like you can do whatever you
Cohagen, he's like cut off
they're all in
the
sort of a bottle, right?
yeah.
And it's easier to have these flexes of control, and of course the consequences, all the people like that fight against it, and you have all these wars and stuff like that. But yeah, I like the ambiguity of it. You can watch it over and over again and say, well, maybe you can watch from the perspective of it is a dream or it's not. And it's like, well, that sort of supports it, and, et cetera, et cetera. And I love well, we'll get into other categories, but I just love the way it unpacks all of its surprises. It's kind of, I mean, RoboCop seems a little too linear compared to Total Recall, but there's still both brilliant movies. So, I mean, J-Man is the cruel heart that wanted us to pit the two together. So I'm serious.
You have to throw it back to me. You're the one who's killing.
Listen, it's your channel, man.
Yeah. But yet we're all here. So
Yeah. We all agree. So who's worse? The one that comes up with it or the people that agree to go with it?
J-Man just invented the gun. Would you like to fire it?
Yeah.
Listen,
All
I'm
right.
going to go story Total Recall, man.
All right. And I wanted to say, when I didn't mean that Total Recall is not rewatchable for the reasons that Charlie pointed out. I'm saying RoboCop is easier to rewatch because you don't have to invest in much into paying attention for these details. You could just throw RoboCop on, and because it's linear, you know what's going to happen. You can enjoy it easier that way to just watch it versus Total Recall. You have to invest a bit more.
I kind of agree with you, Jay, but I kind of disagree with you at the same time, because I think if you just look at Total Recall on a very basic, like fundamental level, and you just turn your brain off, it's just an action movie. If you go deeper, then you can start paying attention. But that's why I definitely like Total Recall more, because I can put it on and just know that every scene is going to be amazing, and then people are going to get shot. Arnie's going to do Arnie things, and it's going to be great. Total Recall, I found that I had to invest a little bit more time in it because I couldn't just put it on because something's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. So I'm kind of agree with you, but on the other hand, I also disagree because I can just put Total Recall on. It's going to be fun. I know guarantee it's going to be fun, and I'm just going to enjoy it no matter what's going to happen.
So since you're already, what about pacing then? Since you're already kind of alluding to pacing right there, which one do you think it has better pacing?
Okay, so if we're going to pacing for me, Total Recall's pacing. I'm going with Total Recall. It's just, even though I just watched RoboCop, and I'm like, I was actually kind of shocked how fast things went on. There wasn't the downtime was still very engaging, and it still progressed the story a lot, and wasn't like, oh, can we just get to something else? But by far, I think that Total Recall takes it because it's just one thing after another. It's like you guys said in the story. It's like, what's going to happen next? What is happening now? What is going on? Who's shooting who? This guy's this person. This person's this person. It was just complete chaos throughout the movie. And once you start getting down to the deeper level, you start questioning everything. But yeah, Total Recall I found was definitely more fast paced. But I was actually shocked, like I said, on how well RoboCop was with moving the story along without being boring, or you're just waiting for something else to happen, because there's always something. Because I think I timed it, like the Ed 209 scene was about like 15 minutes into the movie.
I mean, that's crazy.
And
right?
this guy's getting blown out of the freaking, he's getting like blown apart, and it's only 15 minutes out. I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy. Like, this is insane. But Total Recall, it's almost like the same thing, because like the guy's on the escalator getting blown apart when Arnie's holding him up, and he's just shooting. They're both great, but yeah, I'm going Total Recall for pacing. I think it's just faster pace. There's more things going on, more stuff's happening. The action at that point is better. Things move along a lot quicker, and it makes a lot more sense within the world that's Verhoeven built at that time.
Okay. Just for everyone's own personal knowledge, RoboCop is 102 minutes. Total Recall is 113, so 11-minute difference, which really is
close.
Like
it's
almost
close.
Credits, right? Like,
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
So that's really not really a big issue. Owen, what do you think has the better pacing? This is tough for me, but
it is tough because both movies, there isn't a single scene I would excise from them. Like whenever you watch it, like, oh, I just want to get past this scene or whatever. There's no scene like that in either movie. Like RoboCop, I'm like, yeah, it's seamlessly told story. There is nothing that I would remove from the movie. Same with Total Recall. I'm like, no, everything here is important to the story, to the characters, and everything else. But I'm going to go in terms of pacing. I'm going to go Total Recall. Turn it on its head this time and say that, just because I go by the one which I watch more, which is that. And because I just find it really, really well paced. Just from the opening credits, it's one of my favorite opening theme tunes of all time by the late great Jerry Goldsmith.
Oh yeah.
The music's fantastic. I just saw the music to Robocop. Damn it. But yeah, I'm going to just say Total Recall.
Okay, Total Recall. Ooh. All right, let's go. Bill, what do you think?
I already told you the pacing was the best with Total Recall. There was a lot of scenes with RoboCop that were good. Let's be realistic. You already knew the ending of RoboCop when you saw it. Right. So in some regards, you could argue, I don't think anybody does this, but you could argue it's a possibility that someone could say, could you just get to the part where he recognizes this guy? Could you get to the part where he remembers
I got you.
his past? You know what I'm saying? We already knew all of that stuff. With Total Recall, you had no idea. And again, until the very end. So the whole time you're just like, holy crap, and you're happy to see this stuff. Most of the memory scenes seem to happen whenever, like with RoboCop, it was a lot of go out, action, kill, rip through a wall, save the mayor by ripping this guy through the wall and stuff like that. You know, and then you'd go home and sit down and have baby food and remember some stuff. Right. You know what I'm saying? With Total Recall, you never knew when something was going to happen. The part where, you know, you mentioned, which I alluded to, where he opens the briefcase and he's looking back at himself. Just, if you weren't already invested in this movie, you're just like, oh, shit's going down. Shit's gone down. But this just went to a whole new level. You know, it's like, is this a copy of him? Is this like, you know, some kind of deep fake thing? Like, what's going on here? Right? You had no clue. Oh, and before I finish this up, Sean, do you think that the part with the air being sucked out of that place was somewhat slightly influenced by the one and only Air Raiders comic book back in the day?
Yes.
Suck. Sorry, Spaceballs. Anyway.
I don't know. This is a random question. When was 3 Dev Because I'm pretty sure Captain America does the same RoboCop thing, coming through a wall and getting a guy.
Let me see.
In that movie. Anyway.
73. So that.
Wow. Well, I don't think Paul Verhoeven watched 3 Dev and said,
I seriously doubt it.
You see, Bill, I think both movies.
It's a Turkish movie with Spider-Man, Captain America, and Santo. It's
those freaking Turkish movies, man. You gotta love them.
Did they have the rights, or was it like a boot?
No.
Yeah, I'm just asking. I don't know. Maybe Marvel Turkey has a different thing. I don't
Not at all.
Really branching out
Spider-Man
back
is a
to the
serial
70s.
killer. Is a
He has
superhero.
these giant like Turkish eyebrows. Like,
Oh,
Oh,
like
I
a
have to see
Turkish
this. Oh my
They're
god, this sounds
like
amazing.
his
I'm
mask.
in.
You know,
I
yeah.
want to see it.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, dude, I can't believe we've Sean, you've opened up the doors for these people. Like this.
Yo, Jay, you have to email, you have to
Guys.
message me that. I have to see this.
Oh
This
my
sounds
God.
amazing.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's a killer.
Dude. Yeah, I was going to call my comic book company that. I did call my comic book company that I made with my buddy James, where we drew up. We did some comics, and we called it three large men, and that's what three Devadam translates into. So that's what we called it. And then there's only two of us. That was the other gag. So like, who's the third guy? I'm like, there's three great men. Sorry, yeah. Turkish Star Wars as well. That's great. Okay, so let's go Charlie, what do you think has the better pacing?
If I had to write this on paper individually, they're both 2. Like
Right.
for what each movie is, they're both perfectly paced for the style of movie it is. RoboCop wastes no time. He is RoboCop faster than some movies would do it now. We would be 3/4 of the movie in, then we'd finally get to see him as RoboCop.
How Charlie, you might know this, sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah,
what time does RoboCop become RoboCop and RoboCop or OG compared to the remake? Do we know that? Like what the time difference is? Because if you want, that actually might be a good like comparison to see like how long is it, like an hour in?
But I think it takes, I don't know if it's quite an hour.
Let me sorry, I'll go on. I'll look it up and see if I can find it.
Look it up, because I'm pretty sure the OG, it's fairly quickly because he's already dealing with, Bodiger's gang, and then they've immediately got him into the hospital. The other, there's some preamble with setting up what this new OCP is. So, they had to do a lot with that. So anyway, pacing wise, but Total Recall is like this James Bond-esque spy espionage. Like every time you turn around, something else is happening. There's not a moment to breathe. I'm splitting hairs again. I am going to have to give pacing slightly to Total Recall because there's never a moment of, well, that was a tough thing. No, it's like even when he gets into his hotel room, he gets a knock at the door, and it's the doctor that's trying to snap him out of the recall thing. It's like, holy shit. Okay, now we're doing this. Wait, now she's here. What the hell's going on? Like all this stuff just keeps happening and happening. And Melina comes in through the elevator when they capture him. Like all this shit going on.
Dude, the bead of sweat.
Like the brilliance of, I know you're fake because you're sweating. Doug is thinking that. But if you go back and watch it again, thinking it's a dream, he could have dreamed that he saw a bead of sweat coming off the dude's head. That's the whole beauty of what Total Recall is. I remember back in the day, like people were pissed off at this movie, like, well, you didn't give us an ending. This sucks. And a lot of people never gave it a second thought. And, you come back and you go, this is effing brilliant. Like Owen said, it's like your second favorite Arnold movie, and it's worthy of it. But that's the other beauty of it is Verhoeven turned Total Recall into an Arnold movie. Had this been anyone else, I think it was Patrick Swayze was originally tagged to play Doug when this was owned by I think it was Canon or one of the other ones that went out of business. So then Arnold talked Mario into buying the script. And then when he brought Verhoeven on, because Arnold was supposed to be RoboCop originally, but the suit didn't work with him. It was too constricting on his body. So
he'd be like a tank. It's like a Hummer.
Yeah, exactly. But
you have to wrestle at 209.
He was the first selection to play Murphy. And because he couldn't do it, and then after he watched that movie, he went, I don't work with that director. So Total Recall came here because of RoboCop, which is even wild that we're doing this. But yeah, pacing, both are perfect. Both would be 2s. I'm going to give the edge to Total Recall, though.
The edge. All right. I haven't clipped this yet, Sean. I'm going to eventually do it.
Yeah, you have to find it, man.
I got to find it. Okay. Well, so it doesn't, at this point, Total Recall is winning the pacing. So I'll go next, and I'm going to give it to RoboCop. And I'm going to give it to RoboCop because I feel that if I picked up Total Recall and shook it, I could get a few minutes out of it and not lose anything. I don't think I could shake RoboCop. I can't think of 1 second that doesn't have a funny line of dialogue or something kind of cool happening with a character moment to keep it going along. Just the commercials, every time you need a little bit of a comedic break, you got a commercial or something to come on. I feel that it just breaks up. It is I gave Total Recall the story, but because RoboCop is slightly more generic, but I think RoboCop goes faster. Especially watching it now versus movies of today, which are like 7 hours long. You can't tell a story, in like less than 3 hours now. Total Recall is pretty much perfect pacing. When Cohagen shuts off the air, that little middle section, because I feel all of the cool things of what's going on is now getting into the part where now we're going to have our exposition time. It's like, oh, let me explain. Let me talk to Quato. Okay, he'll explain stuff. Oh, let me talk to Cohagen. He'll now explain stuff. That section, it is needed. It comes in the right spot. It doesn't hurt the pacing, but it's the only part where I'm kind of like, okay, I don't know. I feel like I could shake a minute or two out of it. That's the only reason I'm saying it. I'm never bored in any movie. I just can't trim anything. There's not even friggin' credits in RoboCop. It just starts. It doesn't even say RoboCop. Like, it's just like, dun, you're like, oh, I guess we're starting this movie or whatever. Like, I mean, I don't know. It just goes right into it. It's just the news. Yeah, just roll. It's like, and it starts. It just starts. There's not even credits or anything. You're like, oh, we're into this. Okay, let's go. It feels like they're giving you so much in 102 minutes. I challenge people to find a movie that gives you more things in 102 minutes than this movie does. I just can't.
World building.
Yeah, I can't. I got to give it to RoboCop. All right, Sean, I'll let you go next. So you're not. Well, it doesn't matter. Total Recall's won this category, so feel free to say what you want.
I was going to say Total Recall, but
oh, there you go.
Yeah, look.
Fine, I'm not anyone's friend anymore. You guys all.
Maybe you can shake some scenes out of it, but I feel like the pacing just doesn't light up in Total Recall, man. It's like it's what Charlie says. Like he goes to this area and then some other guy's knocking on his door or whatever, and that one guy's telling him like put a towel around your head and stuff, and then he can't even go up an escalator without someone shooting at him. Like there's always some freaking thing happening, and I feel like it's just bad. Even though I think it's longer, right? You said
it is
113,
like 10 minutes longer.
Yeah. It doesn't affect anything really.
Yeah, I mean the pacing of both is great for their movies. It's like it's not slow for either, but I would say like in terms of like just like not letting up and just the plotting of it, I would say Total Recall edges out and got the edge on freaking. That's from. Should I mention where it's from or what?
I don't know. We can leave it a mystery. It's like Total Recall. What are they talking about?
Are we asleep? Is the stream even real?
It's from Break Into Electric Boogaloo, where the dance off guys
like you lost your bad guy dancer is like you lost your edge.
You lost your edge.
we always quote that. So
anyway. Great canon content right there.
Yeah.
Clobberin.
All right, so you picked Total Recall. So we've got 5 wrongs and 1 right. So Steve, Steve, is it 6 wrongs and 1 right or no?
No, I'm siding with J-Man. It's
oh my god! Oh my god!
Who would have?
Oh, boo!
That's right. Looks like Steve's getting invited to the next stream.
Yeah.
Show everyone the J-Man tattoo on your chest. That's totally fine, Steven.
It's not on his chest.
Oh no! I hear. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, I agree with what J-Man's saying. I do. We talk about how fast-paced Total Recall is, but I do get a little bit impatient sometimes when I rewatch Total Recall, and I've done it several times. I'm like, all right, when are we getting to the lady with the head? When are we getting to this? Because the problem is that because I now know the mystery and all that, I'm now waiting for moments where it's like, boom, when are we doing this? When are we doing this? I found, too, that, again, Total Recall I said it right off the top. You're building a world. It takes longer. You have to explore things more. You have to delve into it. You have to delve into the mystery. You have to delve into that. RoboCop doesn't have that. I immediately recognized Detroit. I was in Detroit several times as a kid, so I know what Detroit looks like. You're immediately there. You're immediately like right off the bat, Murphy's dead within 15 minutes. He's dead. They're resuscitating him. He's RoboCop. Boom, out. It is eye popping good fun. You know, like, and I don't need any explanation of that world. I immediately are popped into it. He's on the streets. He's and he starts to go after the guys who killed Murphy. And I mean, there's nothing I can shake out, to your point, J-Man, from RoboCop. I can't remove a sliver of film. I really can't do it to Total Recall either. Let's be clear, and I don't really want to. But if I really, 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 really tried, maybe I'd cut out, you know, Ronnie Cox popping his eyes out 15, you know, and going through the you know, the spasms at the end when the son of Mars is hitting him. Maybe
there are a lot of spasms in that.
There are a lot of spasms. Like maybe I could do that. Maybe I could lose a bit here, a bit there.
Right.
I literally don't think I can lose a moment of RoboCop. And this follows the Three Amigos thing, which J-Man and I know, which is if you remove this line from Three Amigos, it's not the same movie. And you know what I'm talking about, J-Man.
Wait, do I? What line? Sorry?
There was that line from the Blu-ray for Three Amigos that was removed, and you
they remove it. I don't like. You're right. Sorry. I don't like that they removed that line.
Yeah, and it's not the same movie. It's
Which
one
freaking
line.
So he says he goes, your asses have just been streamlined. The Three Amigos are history. That's in the DVD, but not in the Blu-ray. I've like memorized Three Amigos. I love that movie. I've watched it so many times. And he goes, and that whole thing. But you strayed from the formula. We strayed from where you paid the price. That is the best. It applies to all film. It's like everything. It's like then came those darn amigos. Nobody went to see it because nobody cares about three wealthy Spanish landowners on a weekend in Manhattan. We strayed from the formula and we paid the price.
Yeah. Well, that's my point. You can't lose that line. J-Man notices it and he's like, this isn't the same movie.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do the same RoboCop. I don't think you can remove a commercial or anything like that. Total Recall, I'm not convinced that I couldn't lose a little piece here and a little piece there, and I still would not feel it's the same movie.
Okay. Yeah, these are all like, again, like, I mean, they're like, if we're just doing Total Recall, it's like we have to keep saying this because people are popping in and out. We got 17 votes now. Where are we at here? 17 votes, 65% RoboCop. So RoboCop is still ahead. I think that's the people's champion. Is
where can I do this? Where is it?
You just go to the YouTube. So go to the stream on YouTube instead of like right now you're in your StreamYard thing. Yeah. Open up a new browser and go on YouTube and you can. And all you guys, go ahead and vote if you guys want to vote. I'm not. I don't know who votes, so it won't give anything away. It won't show that you voted.
Jay, are any of the categories world building?
Not. I guess story you could kind of.
Artistry. I would say maybe
artistry maybe
because that's kind of world building.
Not the same. I'm a role player, so in my mind, so Steven, you actually picked up on something really good there. If we're talking about a world that I can play in, like roll up characters, build a world, make an RPG off of them, RoboCop wins 16 times over one easily. Right. You know, so I will hand that to you. As far as the Detroit thing, it almost sounds like you want to see RoboCop versus the Crow. Which I wouldn't say no to.
They did want Ed 209s everywhere, even in the military. So, I mean, and that's something they touch on in the remake. At least I did like that it was already established. So there's no reason the RoboCop could not come out of Detroit.
Who cares if it worked or not?
Spare parts for 20 years. That's a Detroit line right there. We build cars, now we build robots. Spare parts.
Cheapen the horn.
Exactly.
Okay, we're on to the artistry, which is not really an easy category either because we got stop motion, which is the greatest thing ever.
Oh, the stock motion, and the squibs too. Like we were saying in the beginning, the squibs. Oh man,
miniature work and
miniatures.
Total Recall's Total Recall's beautiful. The music.
When did Recall come out? Was that 91?
90. 90.
90?
That's
90,
a
Wow.
3-year
90, and RoboCop was 87.
87. So
Wow.
that might not seem like a lot, but that's a
Huge.
fucking lot.
It's a huge
That's a
difference.
huge
Yeah,
It's
I
a
don't
huge
think this is
difference.
fair.
RoboCop
And
was cool.
Verhoeven used a lot of cool techniques. As I was watching some, because like I said, I watch Total Recall a lot, and the behind the scenes and like how they made some of the miniatures is freaking. It was like groundbreaking for the time. Like
Even
that
like
train,
the train, I was just gonna say
like the way they
yeah.
did it, how like this have
Yeah.
Arnie there, like that was like people were like, what the hell is going on? This is insane.
That's almost
Well,
like the
even
difference between Jurassic Park and everything that came before.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Jurassic
Yeah.
Park still holds up too. It's crazy how much it holds
It
up.
totally is.
Why
But
is it
Total
better than any
Recall
of the Jurassic
still,
World movies?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
way
first
better.
one is the
Way
best
better.
one, really.
Way
I like
better.
part
Jurassic
3
Park one's
because
best.
it's schlock.
yeah, it's more of a creature feature on part 3. but-
That's why I like part
Yeah.
3 because it's just
Yeah.
a schlock movie that's 90 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I don't care about the storyline. I just want to see the dinosaurs eat people.
But Total Recall was also one of the first movies to really start integrating computer into it. That whole X-ray.
That was just the
Ah,
X-ray. I was going to say
cool,
that.
man.
Yeah,
So
that was cool.
It's one of the earliest, blendings of that. So we literally got a transition from, miniatures and stop motion right into, computer generated graphics. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, and Sean and I always joke about that X-ray scene because we're like, well, what would be cool? What if the guy jumped through the thing? You're like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
You know
I
what's
like when
funny?
someone
They
sits there.
actually do that in real life for vehicles in certain parts of Africa when you're traveling, like anytime that you're coming through Rwanda or no, actually specifically just Rwanda. It's the only place I've ever seen it. Is where you're actually going through and everybody has to get out of the car and then they actually put the X-ray machine.
Oh
through it.
my god!
Oh.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So that
That's
real.
actually is real. So
Wow.
just putting that out there.
Sounds like someone's voting for Total Recall. No, okay. All right. So artistry. Who's got who knows? Steve, do you got
Yeah, I
yours?
know.
Okay. Hold on. Owen's got his. Let's go.
Actually,
Owen.
for me, it's funny coming into this. I was like RoboCop all the way, and yet now I keep voting Total Recall, and now I'm voting Total Recall. I'm like, because when I'm breaking it down, I'm like, yeah, I love the visuals, and this Jerry Goldsmith's score is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
I love the effects of the eyes popping out, which still looks great, and it's Arnie going. So it's the movie I watch the most. Like I said, the visuals of all scenes on Mars. Like you mentioned, that train scene where it like zooms out when they're on the train looking out over Mars. Love all that. It generally feels like another world. So, and artistry, 3 boobs. 10
Oh,
out of 10.
you're right. It's over. That's it. You can't
End
go
the stream. We're done. 3 boobs.
RoboCop only had 2 boobs in the changing
Yeah.
room scene. That was it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
2 boobs, 3 boobs wins. 3
All right,
boobs
And
next
wins.
category.
we saw the
boobs.
3 boobs twice. So 6 boobs.
That is
Have you seen? I'm probably the only person on this stream, including my 2 at the top here, who have seen a lot of what I've seen because I showed it to them. A movie called Necropolis.
Nope.
Nope.
I've heard of it, but I've
Ooh,
not seen it.
there's a 6 boober in that one, and milk comes out of
Oh,
it, and all the
it's-
demons come in.
Charles Band, right?
Of course.
Yeah, well, I think it might be. I have it on VHS. I was able to
I
find it
think
on
that is
DVD.
a Charles Band. If not, it's one of those precursors, Empire.
It may
I
as
always
well
got
before it
confused with
was
the
full moon.
subspecies movies because it just seems like the same kind of thing.
Yeah, they're not.
Same
Yeah,
feel. Same feel.
yeah, there's no 6 boob in subspecies.
All right, boys.
okay.
That should be the next versus we do is the movies with the most
Movies with boobs.
Booberama.
We're in.
Sorority House Massacre 2 is going to win that one.
There's a lot of boobs.
So there's a lot in that one. Everybody. So okay.
as far as artistry though.
Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
I just look at it. Seriously, I just look at it in general that like the falling out of the window scene for RoboCop was okay. All right. The falling out of the window scene was so. I mean, you might as well throw in there might have been a Wilhelm scream in it. You know what I'm saying?
Giant arms.
Seeing
I was just gonna say that, Ewan. Oh, and I was just gonna say that his arm is
Seeing
freaking
the
what's
hand
it?
get
Mr.
blown off.
Fantastic arms.
I was looking to
The
see if
first
I had a
time I
Stretch
s-
Armstrong in here somewhere.
Yeah, stretch arm. That's what it was.
The first time I saw it when I was 12, it was crazy seeing the hand get blown off. But then going back and seeing it afterwards, like, that is so cheesy. Wow. You know, there were so many scenes in there that just looked so the squib thing with him getting blown apart by Ed 209. There were so many scenes in there that were just so, like, they don't hold up today. And I mean, like I literally, like, my wife is a generation. Yeah, she's a millennial. Don't hold it in too much. But like when she looks at some of the movies that I watch, she's just like, yeah, these effects, they're kind of. And plus, I've got kids that are Gen A and Gen Z. So like all of them just look at things like, yeah, this doesn't hold up, Dad. It's like, so, you know, I get it. But with Total Recall, that's one of the things where it's like, this was thought provoking. Nobody really thinks about the graphics and da-da-da. So as far as the artistry, like I said, I don't think that this is a fair fight.
Okay. All right. I'll go next. I'm going to go with Total Recall. But I love stop motion. Harryhausen's one of my heroes. I have every Harryhausen movie, and I have a couple of his big, huge coffee table books. I love the stop motion. I think it looks cool. The arms at the end are awful. I agree. That's really awful. I don't agree that I do think the Ed 209 thing holds up pretty well for me. I think it looks pretty brutal, especially the unrated version where it's like it goes on for longer. But Total Recall, you're on Mars. Like I don't know what to say. Like it's like Mars is the greatest thing. I would move to Mars instantaneously. Like,
Musk.
Yeah, come on, buddy.
Give Elon some time. Give him some time. He has to fight Zuckerberg, and then he has to go to Mars.
Oh dear.
We'll get there.
I'll step in.
But Ed 209's design is great. I think RoboCop's design is great. But yeah, I mean, Total Recall, man, it's just like, the Mars thing is so cool, and like even just like just running around and stuff. Like Detroit, they made it realistically in the future where it's a bit run down and not super in the future. Like Judge Dredd was like super future, where like, wow, this is crazy. This is like more of a regular future of like what it
now.
It is or what it is now.
Yeah.
So kudos to Paul Verhoeven for pretty much just keeping things the way they were. But yeah, Total Recall just it's a little bit unfair because the 3 years, I mean, from 80s to 90s, that is a big jump. It's very noticeable in Total Recall. I'm just gonna say but the music too. The thing is, the music is so awesome. So Owen, you're saying the music, it's like, the music's wicked. That opening theme is freaking awesome. I like when a theme can tell you what this movie is going to be about and be awesome at the same time. It starts like sorry?
Back when movie scores had themes.
Right, when they had themes, and you're like, and it's building, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, this is building, and you're feeling like, yeah, that's gonna build, and it gets you into the movie. I don't like what they do. Sometimes they do TV credits. TV credits are where they have the credits over top of footage.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's, like credits are still happening while there's action of the movie. I like the old days of John Carpenter and all that, where it's like either a black screen or whatever, and it's just all the credits, so that when the movie starts, there's no words on the screen still showing me who the directors are or whatever. I like that style better. Cronenberg always says, oh, there's TV. He doesn't like TV credits is what he says, right? Where it's like TV show, it's like they got to keep showing you all the stuff because they want to, it's like 22 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, they got to keep it compressed because that's an extra commercial they can play.
Right. So for me, I agree with Bill. It's sort of it's not super unfair, slightly unfair, but I don't agree. I do like the squibs, but the music is also the thing. And Mars, music and Mars, the two M's. So that's where I'm at. Let's say hi to FKH 2005. How's it going? Koge Pan, hello. Anybody else? Did we miss Joe? Hey Joe. I'm paying attention to the chat as much as I can. Let's check the votes. 20 votes. 20 votes in the full, 70% are with RoboCop. And
give me a second
RoboCop
here.
is not. All right, let's go. So who do we got? Did we do Brennan? Let's go. Brennan, what do you think?
Ooh, for 1987, the miniatures, whoever did the miniatures nailed it with RoboCop. Like when Ed 209 is going down the stairs and he's like, it's like my cat. He's like trying to find the stair and he just falls down. And when he's grabbing him, he's like whipping it. Like when RoboCop blows off his arm and like all the stuff that the little things that they did with those miniatures was unbelievable especially for 1987. Like they killed it with that. Like let's not be taking anything away from it, but Total Recall was just on a next level. Like we were talking about, that train scene was groundbreaking at the time, and like all the prosthetics with Arnie, and like the woman when they pull the thing, it's like 2 weeks, and her like obviously where the hell did those freaking rods come from? Her head's like a normal sized head, but the rods are like this. Like there's no way that's even there, but it looked freaking cool, right? It was badass. It was cool shit. Like and then his eyes popping out when his face mask breaks on Mars, and all the creatures, all the mutants, and everything about it, the world, the Mars landscape and the world that they have, and everything was built in there. Yeah, for sure. This is an easy one for Total Recall, but like let's not take anything away from RoboCop, because those miniatures for the time and the way even how RoboCop leg was and how he spun, like everything moved in, he looked like a machine that was like a badass machine. Like he looked really cool. So let's not take it away. And like you were saying, Owen, like even the score for Total Recall was better. I felt like hype, like dun, 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 like everything was coming in, everything sounded great. Everything flowed with the movie better than RoboCop. So yeah, I'm going Total Recall, but it's like we've been saying the entire night. It's 1A, 1B type thing. It's 0.5s, it's 0.2s, it's 0.1s of a difference within the movies. But I'm going Total Recall with artistry, because just that 3 years really did make a difference. It really did make a difference in the movie, and how Verhoeven utilized, even though it's a small amount of time, it's huge amount of leap in technology, and he utilized it perfectly. Especially the X-ray scene, and everything about that movie was just amazing. And there's more squibs, and I can't screw around with squibs, man. There's more in Total Recall. Like that guy when he gets blown apart and not on that escalator, and it's just crazy. Like 15 people die on an escalator. I think this is nuts. Yeah, I'm going Total Recall. Again, it's close, but Total Recall for sure.
All right. Well, Total Recall has gotten that one, so everyone else is safe now. Let's go. Let's go Sean next. Sean, what do you think has the better artistry?
Well, I'll be the asshole and say RoboCop.
Nice.
I don't care how much older it is than Total Recall. Look, Total Recall is awesome. They're both awesome in terms of effects. I remember people freaking out over the prosthetic makeup and the practical effects of Total Recall, especially Quado, and like Quado would totally be like CGI today, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And he looks incredible, like in Total Recall with the practical effects, like the lip movements are great, and Benny with his arm and everything. Look, I think RoboCop's better in artistry because I think it's more thought out. There's a lot of care and thought put into everything in RoboCop. I love that Ed 209 is mostly stop motion, because I always thought stop motion worked better with robots, because it just looks like they would kind of move like that. It brings that sort of quality across more so than the smooth moving, like Jaegers in the freaking Pacific Rim movies. It's like, there's no weight to them or anything, and I love the fact that, like, in the movie, like, you see it and you're like, how can it go downstairs? And then they address that, right? It's like there's more thought and care put into it. I'm gonna lump all the satire and stuff into this as well. Like, they shot commercials for this, and the boldness and audacity to open with that is amazing. It's like no one would do that today. It'd be a risk. It's like, what kind of a freaking movie is this, right? Open with like Lisa Gibbons or whoever that was, and it's like, oh, the news, and you see like the guy with the Yamaha heart and everything is like, oh, warranty, and it looks like a giant, like, you can't even fit that into a human body, right? It's all stupidity, and it was like nowadays you see something like that Atomic War game. And it's like, oh, yeah, back then that was shocking because we were thinking about that in real life, right?
You haven't dismantled your stockpile.
Yeah. Yeah, all that stuff, and the world building of it as well. Like, I'm going to lump that into art as well, because it's like, I love the fact that it is the future, but it looks like the present, because, you walk down any street, and that's the way it sort of looked 50 years ago or 60 years ago, right? It's like the cars are different, but like you're not going to tear down and rebuild stuff in like, every 5 years, right? Although that sort of happens in Toronto, but
unless you live in Mississauga.
Yeah, but But yeah, I
Hi,
think
Naz.
my
Thank you,
my
Naz.
criticisms of Total Recall are I know everyone's gonna be like, oh yeah, it's on Mars and stuff. I think even as a kid, I thought that the sets look kind of chintzy. And I know that like maybe that's practical because they wouldn't make a big like super giant area for all this, right? Because they have to contain the oxygen in. But it looks like chintzy sound stages. It never looked good to me. And I know I'm the only one on Earth that thinks this, but like either looks too overcrowded with crap and pipes, and it doesn't look practical. It just looks like just a cheaply made soundstage, or too empty. You know, it just looks nonsense to me. And you can say like, well, that's what Mars would look like. I know, but it looks like crap on film. So I don't know.
Yeah. I
Holy crap,
actually looked it
man.
up. I looked it up. Eric Breving is the visual effects supervisor on Total Recall. He actually won an Oscar from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences for his work on Total Recall. So he actually did win an Oscar.
That was back when those meant
So I would have
something.
been like, listen,
Yeah.
this is
Good point. It was,
Robocop
and actually meant
from 3
something.
years ago. So, no, look, they're both awesome. I just like if you're putting them head to head like this. I think the artistry of Robocop is a lot, and I like the score of Robocop better than Total Recall. I know you guys are like saying it's the Total Recall one's better. I think the opening of the score sounds too much like Conan, and then the rest of it sounds awesome. But I think Robocop has more like motifs, and I mean the main theme is there. But I love the battle music. I used to have a CD that had that, and I played it all the time. Like da-na-na, da-na-na. I love that. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Robocop. I'm sorry. No, I'm
Who
not
is
sorry.
he?
No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. It's a legit.
Yeah,
It's a legit, like,
I-
good opinion. Like you can't be sorry about this. This is like probably Jay's gonna say it. This is like it's so very very close. Don't be sorry, man. It's like you made some very very good points. You're wrong, but you made good points.
And and for me, it's tough because it's Mars versus Ed 209. It's just like it's so it's like I can't like I don't know. It's like if there was an Ewok in RoboCop wins for sure. But like because I'd love to have because I want Ed 209 as my guard dog and an Ewok as my pet.
I think Ed 209 is like a character in of itself, which we're getting to like soon, right?
Which
The
we'll
next
get to
next character.
characters very soon, yeah.
So this is getting close. I think Ed 209 is a character up on itself because the way he like I said, the way he does the freaking stare thing and he growls and all this stuff. I'm like, what the?
I want to point something out based off what J-Man said. F and Ewok, but can anybody disagree that Jawas would work in either of these two movies?
Yes. Jawas are great. I love Jawas because I like shysters who when they dismantled the best thing in Mandalorian.
Any moment I can hear an ootini, and I'd be like, this just makes the movie better.
This is so random. No, the second episode of Mandalorian season 1 where he fights the sandcrawler. I watched that just that episode like 4 times. I love Jawas I was like, get in there, man, get those guys, right? And he can't get in. It's like they defeated him because there's endless. And I just keep thinking there's this pregnant woman who's spitting out these Jawas because there's endless amounts of these things.
Master mold,
like a queen alien.
It's master mold.
Eggs.
It's master mold, and she just keeps spitting these bastards out there. They won't, and then they got red eyes. I'm like, oh, these ones got red eyes. That's so cool. I like the idea that I like that their eyes glow different depending on what region, and they're like, oh, I'm a yellow-eyed one, and there's like racism among the eyes.
So, what would the Mars Jawas look like?
I'm gonna say they have green eyes because
that's racist. That's racist.
All right. Okay. So who? Okay.
Green eyes.
Charlie,
that'd be pretty good. Yeah.
So let's go. Steve next, and we'll let Charlie go at the end. Steve, what do you think has better?
Well, I'm going to say Total Recall.
Wait, what are we on? What are we on? Characters?
Artistry still.
Artistry still. Okay.
Yeah.
To add on to Brennan's fact about the visual effects guy, in the 91 Oscars, they didn't even have a contest. There was no other nominees. Total Recall was so above and beyond everything else that they didn't even bother putting other movies in there as a token nominee. It was that ridiculous.
How come Annie Hall didn't win? I'm just
No,
joking.
Annie Hall didn't win.
I'm just
Total,
joking.
Total Recall was
He'll never live that down.
visually,
Sorry.
music wise, it's a masterpiece. It is awesome. Sean, with all due respect, I don't agree with your. I agree with what you're saying. It's crappy, but I think it was crappy on purpose. I think it was crappy because that's what the Ronnie Cox character wanted it to be. I think he was. It was like it was an afterthought, right? The people were there, they were mistreated, and I think that was intentional. At least that's how I looked into it. I never looked. I didn't.
Like Cohagen doesn't, because he's in both movies.
Yeah, it's just like modules and
Yeah, he's just like, I'm just building cheap housing just to have these people there because I don't.
Yeah, he is in both. That was shit. He is in both.
Because you said Ronnie Cox, I'm like, well, he's in both movies. It's
Yeah,
like,
right. That was the same thing going. Which one?
Yeah, it's okay because he wanted a shitty 209, right? So.
Yeah. So I found Total Recall, like, I love the beginning when the music starts, just when it's going around the Coloco thing. It's like shh, 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 shh. I love the music in Total Recall. The Robocop stuff is good. Everything, and like, Robocop's still good. I'm not saying it's garbage, but Total Recall was, before Terminator 2, it was Total Recall was the one that was ahead of its time, right? And it's not even a question to me that Total Recall is heads and above better than Robocop in this category. It's an incredible film to watch. It is literally a visual, circus, bonanza, whatever you want to say. And I mean, it was magic when that movie was made. So Total Recall.
And like, I think just like Jurassic Park, I think the effects still do hold up with Total Recall. Like, they still look pretty freaking good. They still look fun. They still look legit. With Robocop, the miniatures are very obvious. It's very obvious that they're miniatures. Very, very, very obvious. But even Verhoeven did a really good job, or friggin' what's his name, Brendan, whatever his name is, the effects supervisor, did a really good job on Total Recall and making it blend perfectly with the movie, and especially with the theme that they were going for. Like, he really nailed it.
All right, before we do Charlie, we have a request here for Sean's. Sean's laughing because he saw.
Sean.
We got a request here for Sean's.
Sean's hot take.
Here's Sean's hot take. Here you go.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Well, F all of you.
Oh,
gotta be one lone guy.
Okay, so Sean's response.
Screw all of you.
I agree with her, man.
And that's
hold on a second.
She had the wavy things.
I've got a piece of that. I've got a piece of her wavy things on my plaque over here.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I got a piece of the mat when she won the title and one of her little happy things. It's pretty neat. Okay. Charlie has not yet spoken. So, Charlie, what are you gonna?
He's thinking about changing.
Oh, Charlie, don't screw us up, Charlie. You want to go on Sean Island?
I love you, Sean. No, I will 100% agree with Sean, though, that you cannot deny the Robocop theme feels like a freaking superhero type.
Badass.
Yeah, that's good.
Badass.
Yeah. I mean, that goosebumps as soon as you hear it. I got both these movies in 4K. They're both fucking gorgeous when you watch these in true 4K. They are amazing. I love the artistry of Robocop because when I was a kid, that was robots fighting, all this cool shit. I loved it, but I gotta change my tattoo.
Oh no!
It's artistry can be nothing but Total Recall. I mean, it's incomparable. If there is a true, like, if I'm putting numbers, it's a 0.5. It's not a 0.1. Total Recall just nailed every single thing to make it feel otherworldly. Like, Earth feels like Earth. Mars feels like a whole nother planet. The aliens feel like mutated mutants. The set building, the freaking reactor which is just those rods coming down into a block of ice, is just brilliant. The shot of the pyramid from when they're on the train, like the train sequence is awesome, but just seeing the pyramid in the background, you feel like they're on a train and there's a pyramid in the background. Everything, the violence, when he rips Richter's arms off, in the elevator. See you at the party, Richter. It just throws like that. Death alone is already more badass than Clarence Boddicker's death, which was just getting stabbed in the neck. Which is cool. It was awesome as a kid. That blood spurt coming across Robo was badass. Then it's like, yeah, let's up it to 11 and rip this dude's arms off. And Arnold throws in it. Total Recall is an Arnold movie. It is Arnold lines, one-liners, just this awesome action nonstop, and it's gorgeous. I love it. And yeah, artistry has to go to Total Recall. But the RoboCop theme song cannot be topped. It is.
Yeah, get wrecked, Sean. Get wrecked.
Sean left.
Good. He should have left in disgrace.
Sean shall
He left in
return.
disgrace like he should have.
He's coming back with weapons, though, so just be careful.
The stream gets DDoSed. Everyone disconnects.
He said this one dinosaur in RoboCop was way better than everything in Total Recall.
Now, somebody earlier said, it was the Richard who said, Ewoks are cannibals. No, they're not. They don't eat each other. They eat other things. They don't eat.
They're
themselves.
just carnivores. Yeah,
you're right.
That's a good point.
That is a good point. They do not eat each other.
That we know of.
That we know of.
But people who eat their fingernails technically are cannibals.
I'm the cannibal of all cannibals. I literally
bye.
I broke my finger, and it's like I'm like, oh, I was almost thinking I should put tape on all my. Remember Junie in Spy Kids? Yes, I like the Spy Kids series.
Yeah.
Where he was always doing those. He should put bandages on his fingertips.
Yep.
Anyways, if anybody remembers that thing from
the redheaded kid running around, then they put him in Machete as the redheaded one.
So he doesn't bite or whatever. Okay. Let's take a look at the poll here. We got 21 votes. 67% are still with RoboCop. So it looks like the general public is against us in this so far.
They're picking their favorite movie. We're not.
No, they're wrong. They're wrong. So it's fine. Your chat's wrong. So that's how it is.
We're dissecting.
Let me see if I can
We're dissecting it.
Jay, is there a nostalgia category for this?
So basically, once we get the next one will be characters. The last one is enjoyment, which is just basically like, which one do you like better for whatever reason you want? You could say like, I've got a RoboCop tattoo. I like RoboCop better. I don't care. Like that's it. You could literally.
I feel like that was directed at me for some reason.
I don't know. Well,
Wait, do you have a RoboCop tattoo? Where is it?
I got a RoboCop.
His whole arm is RoboCop.
Is it really?
Half sleeve, yeah.
Oh shit, that's fucking awesome. Oh god, yeah. That's it. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. See, no, that's cool, man.
The other side is Judge Dredd.
All Judge Dredd.
Oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Those are two. That's actually I'm very envious of those. That's perfect.
Think about
like
future law enforcement.
Yeah,
not seeing a face.
My tattooist loves the fact I didn't make her do faces. She's like, they got helmets on. I dig this. So she loved doing those.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
so
side thing. Hold on. This stuff is delicious, man. coconut pineapple bubbly, man. This stuff is delicious. Not sponsored stream, not sponsored.
Yeah, not sponsored. I have to change the stream to sponsored or whatever.
Sponsored, not sponsored. No, it's delicious. This stuff is delicious, man.
Well, I'm drinking from my bottle with poo on it.
That is delicious ice cream, Jay. So
this is my mom used to be in sales. So their company made these bottles. So this was limited. Obviously, not a lot of people got it. So I got like, she's like, oh, we're gonna do these, and I've never seen them in stores. So I've kept this one. And then
she makes shit.
So your mom sold a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Yes, Richard. Yes, he knows. Richard knows.
Richard knows.
What's up? Yeah, this stuff is great.
Okay, so we're on characters now. This one I've got. This was the first one where I thought, yeah, I know what I like better. I'll just go first. I've been ducking going first, but I'll go first. It's RoboCop. I think big time for me. I think I love Murphy. I like Ed 209. I like the old man. like Clarence Boddicker is like, I don't like, obviously Cohagen is a jerk, but Clarence Boddicker is like one of the most meanest villains for me in action movies. I fucking despise him.
Yeah, I wanted to die so bad.
Characters.
I want him to die so bad.
I want him to die so bad.
Yeah. Good call. Good call.
Cohagen is like, I'm just like, he's a douche business guy, right? Like everyone else, like, because RoboCop gave us Cohagen and Clarence Boddicker. We had the douchey, like, corporate guys, and then we had the street level thug villains. So like, you got two villains. You got, and I mean, obviously they're both detestable. You got Ed 209, who is a character to me. I think he's hilarious. RoboCop is awesome. Lewis is awesome. I don't know. Like, their relationship is cool. I don't know. I like everybody in the movie, and I know they were in comics too. And then you know, they've got multiple parts, so it's easier because Total Recall just has one movie. Douglas Quaid, who is named Quail in the book, Quaid. To me, it's Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger's my hero. I love Schwarzenegger. It's Total Recall is my second favorite Schwarzenegger movie as well, after Conan and then Terminator. And it's like, but I just feel like he's Schwarzenegger. Like, he's Schwarzenegger. It's his best role because he's not playing exactly Schwarzenegger. Like, he is playing a character, but he's got the one-liners and it's a bit short. It's kind of Schwarzenegger. Sharon Stone is like, oh, she's just a bitch. It's like, okay, she's great, but you know, whatever. Melina's there.
She was a hot bitch.
Yeah, she was.
This is peak Sharon Stone too, man. This is
peak Sharon Stone.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Her legs was mid compared to her in this. Like, wow.
She did Playboy because of Total Recall. She was so fit and what she considered herself in peak form. She agreed to do Playboy because.
Oh no, she was like, you can't get better than Sharon Stone and friggin' that movie. It's impossible. She's like the best in that movie. Yeah, the best.
Yeah, I still like Basic Instinct, but anyways,
everybody does.
Yeah, we could do Basic Instinct versus Showgirls, the other two Paul Verhoeven movies. I don't think anyone's gonna pick Showgirls, even though I saw that in the theater.
You would.
I liked Showgirls. I don't care what anybody says.
I bought it, so it is what it is. Yeah. Oh, you never saw it?
Jay, you buy everything though.
That is true.
It's true.
That is true.
They had Jesse from Saved by the Bell naked. I was gonna watch it. There's just no other way around it.
Specialist.
Yeah, I said the Specialist. I think she was the best in the Specialist, dude.
Yeah, she was really good in that. So, our friends here, Owen from the Action Elite here, and you got, and Charlie, you were both on that stream.
That was
right?
that was our solo show. Owen.
Yeah, that's right. But I remember we were talking about how distracting it was Stallone's veins during all the scenes. You just seeing the veins pop out of her arms, and you're like, I'm trying to look at her, but his veins.
Yeah,
though.
well, look at those veins. Holy shit! Yeah, exactly. Magic marker that out. No, she was hot in the Specialist for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Something about Total Recall, man. She went all in. So yeah,
she was mean, and she had that boss girl suit or whatever, girl boss suit or whatever.
That office pants suit.
The office pants. Yeah. No, she's a great character. I do like the characters in Total Recall, but man, RoboCop, like, I don't know, like, they're just all awesome.
Even Miguel, he's badass too, man. He's good too. He's good too. Yeah.
Like, even the side guy, like, every character had some memorable line or something. Look, he's got a car just like yours. He's like, look what I found in the parking lot. A van here with a factory sticker still on it. Hey, Clarence, he's got a car just like yours. Oh yeah. You're like, oh man, come on. It's like, all those characters are so good. Even the I'd buy that for $1 guy, I feel like he's a character. Like, he does,
Even Paul, he's like, yeah, what are you studying there, as college boy?
Like, it's like,
you can outsmart a bullet, college boy.
Yeah, come on, college boy.
Yeah, it's like, what you reading in there? It's like
physics, whatever it is. Playing geometry. Yeah,
it's like, okay, RoboCop for me, hands down on this one. This was the easiest one for me. I love the characters. I really like all the Total Recall characters. I'd still give it 2 out of 2 for characters because I'm very interested in what's going on. Michael Ironside, childhood favorite, super awesome.
Michael Ironside's amazing.
You got all your Paul Verhoeven regular character actors. in it. Ronnie Cox in both movies. The guy's on fire in both. He's a super douchebag. I can't believe he's the president in Captain America, which always kind of threw me off. I'm like, why is Cohagen the president? How did that happen? When you're a kid, the actor.
He was the nice cop in Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, he was.
Like, I watched that later, even though it came out before, and I'm going, wow, this guy can play nice really good.
Yeah.
And people were actually like turned off because of him acting as a bad guy. They were like, he's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's a great
He's
guy.
great in Beverly Hills Cop as well, man. It's like you're on vacation.
Right.
Okay, right. Vacation. Okay, so I went first on that one. So I took it. Let's see what happens. Owen, what do you think?
Yeah, so sorry, because I'm in full agreement with you. I love the characters in Robo. Clarence Boddicker is the best villain of the 80s for me. I thought he terrified me as a child. Like, because I was 8 or 9 when I first watched Robocop, and we watched that all the time. Like, kids today watch like Pixar movies and everything. We watched fucking Robocop, First Blood, Terminator.
This explains a lot. By the way, it explains a lot about you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, love Clarence Boddicker. I love how the bad guy's name is Dick. Dick Jones. You're like, yeah, because he is. But then you got Bob Morton as well. I love Bob Morton, and I love the bitches leave. He's just such a horrible bastard. Yeah, love Murphy. Love Lewis. Lewis is one of the greatest like supporting side characters. She's great. I love the police captain as well.
Yeah.
Murphy front center. I just love him. He's just so real. The shouty police chief, but he's a good guy. So yeah, no, characters all the way for me in Robocop. I love Total Recall as well. I love Richter and everybody there, but I just think the characters in Robocop are just iconic. If you say Clarence Boddicker, most people will know who you're talking about, because I think it's like him and Hans Gruber are like the two like 80s legendary villains. I think Clarence is almost underrated.
I agree.
So there you go.
Clarence is one of the most evil person you can see in a movie by far. Like his enjoyment when Robocop is getting killed and Murphy's getting killed is legitimately disturbing. Like legitimately on a visceral level, is disturbing how much enjoyment he gets out of seeing Murphy getting blown apart with shotguns. Like it's bad. It's bad. He does not give a fuck.
The director's cut's even worse when you watch it. It really
what in the shotgun scene?
Yeah, there's more.
Oh, there's more. Because I guess I watched the normal version. So like it's even more. It's more worse than. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It's one of the things that almost made it an X-rated.
It was X-rated. That cut. The
you had to cut it out.
I had to cut that out. And so was Total Recall. Total Recall got an X rating, and they actually. I
gotta watch that freaking X rated version because that scene really disturbed me.
And then the part in the beginning with Ed 209, like he shoots him, and then he shoots him more, and then more. Yeah. It's like he falls back on the table, and then he shoots him more while he's on the table, dead already, and it's just like
he turns into a puddle of blood. That's how much longer they stay on him, shooting him up. Like it's double the amount of time in the director's cut. Now, the director's cut doesn't change anything story-wise whatsoever. It's just more all the violence that we had to cut out because of the pussies, in the theater. Here, this is it.
We were 12. We were 12.
We were 12.
All right. Well, Brendan, you were kind of leading the charge there for a second. So why don't you tell us which one you think has the better characters?
I have both. Like I said, I watched RoboCop recently, and I have both characters up. And this is so because I like I said in one of the first discussions, I consider Ed 209 an actual character. Like it's an actual legit fleshed out character. Like it has a personality, which doesn't make any sense. How does this like fully autonomous robot have a full-on personality? Boddicker is the villains in RoboCop are a million times worse than in Total Recall. It's not even compared. You can't compare. I wanted every single one of those guys to die as fast as possible, and I want to make sure that RoboCop killed every single one of them.
Right.
But when you go into characters, Douglas Quaid, Arnold Schwarzenegger this is peak Schwarzenegger. This is one-liners. This is exactly what you want from a Schwarzenegger movie. And Sharon Stone is peak Sharon Stone. Ronnie Cox is in it, And I love Ironside in almost everything he does. Ironside is one of the greatest freaking character actors one of the best character actors you can get, period. So like he killed it. I'm gonna go with a slight edge to friggin' Total Recall. Slight edge. We're talking again, like we said, this is going from like a 2 to a friggin' 1.9. Like this is very, very close. But I think, yeah, Schwarzenegger and even like Marshall Esquado and all these guys and Michael Ironside. I love Michael Ironside. I like them more than I wanted all the other guys to die. Right. That's not taking away from Kirkwood and Clarence, and like I want him to die more than anyone in the world. The guy was a piece of garbage. But I do like a slight edge to Total Recall.
Yeah. V.
Yep. Good V.
Yeah, we love V. I've got the visitor. Yeah, you can't see him. He's up right there.
Yep. Ham instead of Han. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so who do we got? Let's go, Bill. What do you think?
I'm going to bring up, only because it's relevant to this topic, Sean asked what movie starts off with commercials. Tropic Thunder did. And why am I bringing up Tropic Thunder specifically? Because every single character in that movie was memorable and over the top, and it was almost every line in that movie was quotable. Exactly the same as Pulp Fiction, right? And I think that neither of those movies can be compared more to RoboCop than anything else. Almost every single line in that movie was quotable. Every single I mean, there were very few minor characters in that movie. There were plenty of non-memorable characters in Total Recall, unfortunately, you know?
Right.
And while a great point with the Michael Ironside, I was thinking about that. I was like, it's so funny how Boddicker and the Ironside character they looked so much alike and everything.
Right.
And I wonder, would Ironside have made RoboCop a better movie somehow? And somehow I doubt it in that particular regard because Boddicker was so sadistic in that. But I think that the characters were more memorable in RoboCop than anything in. I mean, it's like, but realistically, it's like everybody in RoboCop versus Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right.
Yeah. Brings it close, but I am gonna have to give it to RoboCop.
And that's exactly, Bill. That was my weighting, is like Arnold elevates the characters just a little bit, like minor. Like we said, we're nitpicking at this point because these movies are so amazing. Like nitpicking.
And look, the jealousy part that Ironside's character played was just so, like he was going against his boss because it was like, nah, he slept with my wife. It's part of the job. What? Wow. There was good stuff in there, but I have to give the slight edge. Unlike Brennan, I have to give that slight edge to RoboCop.
100% agree. There's no wrong answer. Pretty much at this point, there's no wrong answer.
Unless it's one against me.
100% yes.
Yeah, 100%. All right, I'm unanimous in that vote. So who do we got? Let's go. I'll leave Charlie for the end here for this one. Let's go, Steve. Steve, what do you think? No, because all right, Steve, what do you think?
To me, it's pretty much clearly RoboCop. Every character, to your point, is memorable. Clarence Boddicker is, I agree with Owen, he's one of the probably greatest screen villains of all time. Definitely 80s, but probably all time. I love that scene when he's brought in bleeding to the police station and they want to book him and he spits on the book, his own blood, and he's just like, give me my fucking phone call. Like, just how he does it. It's just, he doesn't care about anything. He has so regard. He looks like the dad next door. And he's this vicious, lawless bastard. He does not care about anything. He has no regard for the law, lives, anything like that. He goes into a drug dealer's, warehouse and he threatens him. He's going to, this guy is crazy. All his underlings are cool. I like Murphy, obviously. Murphy, Peter Weller does a yeoman's job in the lead. It's very easy to get stuck behind the makeup and the armory of RoboCop, but he still manages to emote, obviously better when the helmet's off, but he still manages to emote, and you still feel like there's a struggle in there. I love Nancy Allen. I've loved her for a long, long time, for different reasons. Yeah, that movie and Miguel Ferreira. Oh,
yeah.
Take care, Richard. Miguel Ferreira is the unsung hero of RoboCop. That Bob Morton corporate climbing bastard. He is so amoral, but he's building something good, but it's for the wrong reason. It's so clever how it's done. Like Ronnie Cox. He's Cohagen in Total Recall. Dick Jones to me is a better villain. Right in the bathroom when Bob Morton's there, he turns around, he grabs him, like Dick Jones grabs him by the hair, and he don't fuck with me. That to me is more of a reaction than anything he did in Total Recall. In Total Recall, he's a figurehead. Nothing wrong with that, but like he's in there, you see him, and there's this whole corporate, schism going on in RoboCop that is so insidious and yet so familiar. And it's so relatable. Total Recall, there's two actors who I think you just put them, if you just had them for 45 minutes alone in a room that's going crazy, it would work. One is Bruce Campbell, and we know that because that happened in Evil Dead 2. He was just in the cabin for 45 minutes. The other is Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger is one of the greatest movie stars of all time, bar none. Richter, like Ironside, he's awesome. There's nothing about that. I found a Rachel Ticotin character she's there. And there's characters who are just there. There's nothing wrong with that. They're not terrible. But when you're going against something where every single character was very memorable, it's not a comparison to me. It's RoboCop all the way.
All right. I was going to ask Charlie when you were on the Clarence Boddicker spitting, and I was going to say, who does Clarence Boddicker work for? Does anyone know? Do you know the line? Do you know the whole spiel? I work for Dick Jones. Dick Jones. He's the number 2 guy at OCP. OCP runs the cops. You're a cop.
He's a cyborg. He recorded every word you said.
Yeah, he just records everything. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
He's a cyborg. He recorded everything.
It's admissible as evidence.
We can't very well have our products turning against us.
Yeah, like you
think
said,
you're an ordinary police officer? You're our product. And we can't very well have our products turning against us.
Like you said earlier, I think it was Jay that when he said like you're fired, and then he's like thank you, and he that was one of the best scenes. Like that scene was so badass. He's like, finally I can take this guy down because it was freaking
the fourth directive.
The fourth directive, yeah.
It just erases off of his visor, and it's thank you.
Finally.
Yeah, so technically it shouldn't erase. It's still there for other members of the corporation.
It was popping up saying this is why you can't do it.
It should have just gone away.
I fired the director.
I like how it evaporates. Like it would just go off. Like it wouldn't evaporate. But look, that's little details that are kind of fun.
Did you write the code for it? You didn't write the code for it.
I did.
Somebody else did.
I did. I didn't.
There was some guy that went, I don't want it just to disappear. Let's go. Let Thanos sit out of here.
If we're sorry, Charlie. The art. If we're going back to artistry just for 1 second, the transition from when RoboCop dies to when he is RoboCop is one of the best transitions in like movie history because it's like him dead, and then it's like, and it's this. He's RoboCop, and how they're doing it, and he's like, there's like New Year's, like, hey, what's up, RoboCop? And everyone's all fucking having a party. Like that is one of the best transitions from one thing to another in movie history. I think because it's actually incredible
from his perspective.
Right, exactly. Yes.
Listening to the doctors pronounce him dead.
Yep.
It's insane.
He knows he's conscious, and then when everything ties back. Anyway, sorry, Charlie. Continue with.
No, you're fine. No, I wasn't.
He was killed it. Killed it.
I was just going to say, imagine they did a RoboCop film and the entire movie is seen from his POV.
It's like a video game.
Yeah.
Like what was that? What was that movie that they did, Hardwired or something? That was like it was all like a first-person shooter. Hardcore Henry. That's what it is. Hardcore Henry. Yeah. Yeah. But a RoboCop version of that. That'd be cool. Or an Arnie version of that. Oh shit, that'd be cool.
The problem with that with a RoboCop one is because you can cut him and he's moving faster in the movie. But if you're POV, you're like, Come on, Robo. Fucking,
Because he's
Yeah,
slow,
he's so
right?
slow.
let's go. Get in the car. Get in the car so we can get there now. That would
Yeah,
be
we
the
never
only
see him getting
downside.
in because it's like I have a feeling that he can't actually bend and get
Yeah,
in
he
that
couldn't.
car.
He wasn't wearing the suit when he's in the car. He's just in jeans or whatever, and
Yep.
he's only wearing it above there because he couldn't get in otherwise.
So the scene where he's stepping out is literally a cut scene of him
Right.
lifting his foot out of the car.
Did you guys see the actual like fan edit where people did like 1 minute and 30 seconds each of each scene of RoboCop? Have you heard about this?
No.
Uh-uh.
So what happened was these guys did this thing. Okay, everyone gets like 2 minutes. I don't know what it is. You can look it up. But these people said that everyone gets about 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes of a scene of RoboCop, and these guys edited it together. The ball scene where he gets shoots in the balls, like in RoboCop, it's like fucking like 4 or 5 minutes or something of it, people just walking out and just getting shot in the balls. Look it up. It's like it's a fan edit. It's a fan edit, and everyone has each person has a different scene, so it's like different type of RoboCop freaking costume, and everything is different. It's honestly, it's hilarious. It is hilarious.
The dick shooting video is the funniest. Like some random person walks up, what's going on, bro?
Yeah, it shoots him.
And then their dicks are laying on the ground.
Yeah, it's so Brutus.
It's fucking hilarious.
It's the one of dude, it's hilarious. You gotta look it up. Anyways, so continue, Charlie. Apologies.
Okay, so Sean, do characters.
It's RoboCop. I think the problem with Total Recall is that like the characters for the most part are sort of guarded and not well established because it's supposed to be that way, and it's supposed to establish the ambiguity of the movie, right? But I mean, like Schwarzenegger himself, like I know people make fun of his acting, but like compared to most action heroes, he's pretty good. And like I love evil Schwarzenegger, like he's smiling and swaggering. He's like,
I forgot about that.
Like, yeah, he's like, maybe we'll meet each other in our dreams. You never know, you know.
You're right. He's so
it's
good.
so good, man. It's like he had a lot of fun doing it too.
Guy's an asshole.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah. And Michael Ironside is Michael Ironside. He's awesome. I mean, I love when he misses the train and then they cut in on him going like that.
Yes.
It's like there's no reason to do that, but it's like
I felt that he really missed the train.
I feel his pain. I know what it's like.
You
Yeah, no reason to do that. You've clearly never missed a train.
But like RoboCop, all the characters, there's dimension to them. I love it's Miguel Ferreira or something like that. That guy, there's a dimension to him. Like he could be just a corporate asshole, but I love when he's encouraging RoboCop. He's like his dad, you know, like he's like, these guys are gonna love you and all that. I love all that stuff. I love the corporate stooge that's with him all the time. He's always smiling.
Johnson.
He's like reacting. He has like super quick reactions in the last. He's like, like they cut to him in like half a second just to see what he's doing. I love I mean I love all the different bad guys. I love how they name them all, so now you know all their full names. There's the one guy that sounds like Crypt Keeper when he laughs. It's like he's like
The black guy.
Yes. Well, I didn't say that, but anyway.
Oh no!
Wow.
Canceled.
Officer Lois. You know, it's funny. When RoboCop came out,
Eddie Murphy's black too.
But
oh dear.
I always read the Mad magazine.
We're all canceled, boys. I'm sorry, Jay. Your channel shut down.
Sean's brown. He's fine.
What's one here? It's like, hey.
Sicilian, bring it.
I was reading the Mad magazine version of stuff, and they called Officer Lewis Officer Loas, and I struggle not to call her that now. It's like for some reason, I don't know. Anyways, it's got to be RoboCop for characters, because the thing is, it's like. I think the unfair advantage is that, as I said, Total Recall, it's like the characters are written in a certain way for you not to fully connect because you don't know what they're all about, right? You know, but that's just my thing. So
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, because of the nature of the story of Total Recall, you can't get really. You have to only care about Quaid because he's the guy you're following. Yeah. You don't know who's going to turn on him or whatever. Yeah. All right, Charlie. Final word on the characters.
Jesus, man! Like everybody's gone RoboCop. Gee, I wonder which one I'm going to vote for. It's RoboCop, man. Like there's such a finite amount of. He got mad and slammed stuff down.
Brennan didn't.
There's all.
Am I the only one that voted for Total Recall?
Yeah,
yeah. Just barely.
I am the only one.
So you're barely wrong.
But we're given enough time to care about each character in RoboCop. Like even some of the secondary characters, we feel like we know them. Total Recall was okay. You got his coworker that is bad. Then you have all these other Then you have even the hotel clerk that takes his name that kind of looks at him suspiciously. That character's gone. Melina, she's two-dimensional to me in this entire movie. Mm-hmm. You know, there's just so many different characters getting thrown at you and then gone. And they don't matter. RoboCop is, I can live in this world. I know everyone where they stand. I know what they believe in. Like even the cops that are pissed off that they got to shoot at RoboCop when they get word from OCP, they're not just random cops. They're cops that were like calling for the strike earlier, that were complaining that one of their friends died. The nerdy guy that worked in records. I like that dude. Especially when RoboCop.
That guy's pretty cool. Okay. That guy was pretty cool.
That guy's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's pretty
I
awesome.
can't say that. The only character I can relate him to is the Johnny Cab in Total Recall, because I like the Johnny Cab in Total Recall as a character,
And that's what's his face from freaking Star Trek, right? That's what's his name?
Data?
Yeah. No.
Oh, Robert Picardo?
Robert Picardo. Yeah. Robert Picardo.
Holy crap! That's crazy.
Yeah, it's Robert Picardo. It's his likeness and his voice. It's both. They took his likeness and his voice, and that's Robert Picardo. Yeah.
Yep. I love he tries to kill him. It's hilarious.
He rips him off. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Do you know who the biggest dick is? Okay, I keep forgetting this. In Total
that's
Recall,
right. He rips his face off.
The worst character in Total Recall is the doctor guy. Use your head, you dumb bitch. You're like,
yeah.
He's necessary and uncalled for, sir.
That's workplace harassment, right?
Yeah, that is.
People had no HR department. Yeah.
That's a lawsuit right there, right away.
Also, they totally miscast. I totally see Phil Hartman being in that role. For some reason. Like that would have been perfect casting right there. But
she is doing her nails. It's like, do your job, for Christ's sake. You do your nails
for
on
what? Answer a phone? That like, no one was beating down their door to get lobotomized. But no, I like RoboCop because even the robot feels like a character. Like we said, Ed 209 is totally a character. That's kind of what sucks about the remake. They took Ed 209 away from being a character. It was just a machine out in the world. In this one, he's even though there's multiples, because they're like, we got one out here guarding the building, and RoboCop blows its head off, which is amazing. I still love that. And eventually we get RoboCop without the mask. It goes back into being Murphy. And also I watched this going, if we do ever, whatever reason, they decide that we're going to try RoboCop again, it better be Paul fucking Bettany. Paul Bettany is the next Alex Murphy, period. I don't want to see anyone else under that helmet than him. And he's kind of done the vision. So if anything, he's kind of got that already. He's got that robotic type of tenor and movement, but you put him under that helmet, it'll be perfection as long as you give me a good story and not make it.
They are doing one. I think they're doing a TV series or something.
I think they're talking about the TV series. We do have the video game coming out. Delta City 1 or something like that. I can't remember. It's in beta right now.
What, for RoboCop?
Yeah, RoboCop.
Oh, Charlie, sorry to interrupt. Charlie, you might remember this. There's a RoboCop game that I remember from my childhood. And it was like a friggin' like 3D kind of like shooter thing. Is that what it was? I think it might have been predated because this is like very old. Like it was and you might be right. Yeah,
and I have it on a Commodore Amiga.
And it's like, that might be it then, because that was like very 3D shooter, and that's you went around the city in the car, and then you came out. Yeah, it was it was very very blocky.
That's 3. Now we had the old like NES version, it's crap, but the arcade version of RoboCop is one of my favorite arcade shooters. I love playing RoboCop.
Wasn't that the first video game where they made where you just be sinking quarters into it because there's no way for you to win? Yeah, that's like my worst.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But I played
it's like in Wayne's World with the guy from Noah's Arcade who's like the kids keep pumping in the quarters. There's no way to Noah's Arcade.
Yeah, exactly. Kids are pumping quarters and I love it. Let's go.
They're never going to get to the next level. It's
No,
awesome.
You can't get
That was the RoboCop game. I was like, there's no way to win this. I'm not spending my money on this. I was always economically frugal.
Not me, man.
You guys all suck.
Jason just freaking put his money into freaking Street Fighter 2 and beat up kids.
Oh, I will destroy anybody. I don't care.
I played Street Fighter 1 in the arcades, all right?
I'll play Connect 4 with my niece and nephew, and I destroy them.
Oh,
and I'm like,
and
I'll say that was a dumb move. I just got 4 in a row in 2 seconds.
No, Jay's right. You got to teach them young to know that if you screw up, you're getting destroyed.
Potentially the final word on the characters is RoboCop is sorely lacking in the dwarf hooker category.
Yeah,
and three tits.
No,
3 tits.
Her name was Thumbelina in the movie too. So
Her name was Thumbelina.
Yeah,
because he yells it Thumbelina and throws her a machine gun. She pulls out a knife that might as well have been a sword to her and stabs her.
Oh my god!
That one dude.
That seems the greatest.
The mutant with the eye coming down. There should have been more of him. In fact, there was a comic book. There was a 4-issue comic book series where there was a lot more of him, and I forget who did it. But
Tony,
it was actually really good.
Yeah, you got a lot of your face around here. Who's talking?
He's from Breaking Bad. He's in Breaking
Yeah,
Bad now.
Under the Dome and all that. And
Yeah, he was the cop in Breaking Bad. I think
He was in
there's a
Terminator
guy.
2.
Yeah, he's great. He's great.
Yep.
He's a good actor.
What's the guy in RoboCop who is the guy on the megaphone talking to the guy saying, "Yeah, we can get you a car." Like,
We'll get you a blah punk.
well, what's that character's name? Because that actor is also in Total Recall, almost the same character, and he was in the cartoon series. They carried that character.
right.
They carried him into the
There's a lot
cartoon
of guys,
series.
yeah.
Clarence is in the cartoon. How many of our
Which guy are you looking for, Jay?
The guy who was
the megaphone when the mayor's
I know
being
the
held
name.
captive?
Character.
And then he
Oh, the
also
megaphone
plays
looking it
one
up
of the military guys in Total Recall.
Yeah, and he says we
Yeah.
have orders to gun him down. It's like he goes, "You can't do this." It's like he's one of us, right? Like,
Yeah, he's that guy too.
yeah. Okay, so
Jay, you might know this. I freaking one of the main security guy from was in Total Recall is Gal Gadot or not Gal Gadot. Freaking he's in Star Trek. The main guy in Total Recall, he comes in with Cohagen or whatever. With Ironside, he comes in with Ironside, and he's like,
the nerdy looking guy.
Yes, the tall guy. He's actually freaking one of the Jay. You're the one that told me about this fucking dude.
Which guy is he from Star Trek?
He's one of the freaking aliens. He's
Which Star Trek?
I mean, there's so many.
Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
Was he Odo?
Yes,
No.
yes.
Oh,
I
it
think it
is
was Odo. It is Odo. I think it is
Renee
Odo.
Arbogast.
Yeah, I think it is. I know what it is. I think that's what it is. Yes.
That's what did it for.
He's like the security guard for friggin' for Ironside. He's one of the security guys on Mars.
Yeah, maybe. Oh my god. Well, I love Odo. He's great.
I just want to
that's
say
awesome.
one quick thing in the cartoon because I just saw the intro for the RoboCop cartoon. Terrence Bogard is totally in the intro with that.
Yep.
It's like his face and everything in the
Yeah,
black
yeah.
eye and one of the other
It's
guys.
the scene where they're shooting up
It's the
Murphy.
scene, yeah.
It's the scene animated. They don't show
Yeah.
the blood and everything, but
But
that's
it's his face.
Wait. There's a show.
in the
cartoon.
cartoon,
There's a
yeah.
RoboCop
The first
cartoon,
cartoon.
yeah.
They made 2 of
I
them.
didn't know there was a cartoon for RoboCop.
There's 2
Oh,
of them.
yeah.
I got like a
There's
year
a
later.
Saturday morning.
I know there's a RoboCop. I know there was a Rambo cartoon, which doesn't make any sense because that's crazy.
Yeah, Rambo.
No,
There's a
man.
RoboCop cartoon.
Yeah.
There was
That's
a
where the
Conan
voice came from.
cartoon for
Dude,
crying
80s was
out loud.
80s was a fucking weird time, man. It was a weird time.
I watched Police Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Police
Yeah,
Academy. That was hilarious.
Police Academy is such a raunchy movie. Oh, jeez.
There was a cartoon.
R-rated. That's how you make
The
cartoons.
first
Yeah,
two
it was R-rated. It was
I
full R-rated.
have my Police Academy 4 posters behind me, but it's covered with a Doc Savage statue, so which is
Yeah.
good. in
But
its
there was
own
a
way.
Conan movie. You could make any or cartoon. You
I
could
got
make
that
any kind of
cartoon right
cartoon.
there.
Toxic Avenger
I miss the
cartoon.
80s,
I've got
man.
that
You used to
cartoon
make
right there,
cartoons of fun
How
shit.
did that get made?
That right? They're running over babies in that movie.
What?
They're backing over the guy back
Yeah.
and forth. Like
what the heck?
What's wrong with you people?
They should
Before
be
we
a
get-
Class of Nukem High cartoon.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Okay, let's get to the poll. 24 votes. We got 24 votes. 71% for RoboCop. For
71% are fucking idiots. So
Well-
let's go with that.
Oh,
Okay.
wow, man. That's
Wow, this is wow, man. Oh my god.
He's
This
just
is-
mad he was the
You're
only
idiots.
one that voted for Total
Yes,
Recall.
yes, I am. I'm bitter
What
as
does that say about me?
I don't know. What does it say?
It says you can shit in my mouth.
Jay knows. Jay knows.
All right. We're in enjoyment. So basically, which one do you like better? Whatever, doesn't matter the reasons. Owen, let's go with you first.
I'm always going to go last.
Actually, a tough one. It's funny. I can't actually say which one. I'm going to go with Total Recall because it's the one I watch the most. I think I watched that more than RoboCop because when I was younger, like Clarence scared me as a kid, so I didn't want to watch it so much. And then I think that's why I ended up watching Total Recall so much. But yeah, I just think for sheer rewatchability, it's Total Recall. I love them both for different reasons, but in terms of a movie that I watch all the time, Total Recall, it's like my second favorite Arnie movie. It's so quotable. There's so many great kills in it. And it's just such a fun time. So I'm going with Arnie here.
Okay.
Not what I was expecting.
All right. So Brennan, which one do you like more? Just as a movie or just for fun rewatchability, whatever the reason?
For enjoyment, man. Like I thought watching RoboCop on Tuesday, like I said earlier, I'll repeat myself again, that RoboCop wasn't in my top 10 for any movie, but Total Recall is definitely in my top 3 for like, and I'll watch it anytime. If someone says I'll put Total Recall on, I'm like 100%, let's go.
Right.
But watching RoboCop, I'm like, wow, this movie is freaking so good. And obviously they're both Paul Verhoeven, so they're both amazing movies. But the one that I can watch the most and just get pure enjoyment, even if I just put it on the background and just have it as a thing, is Total Recall, because it's just so fun. It's fun. It's Arnie doing Arnie. It's fucking squibs going off all the time. It's freaking complete violence. It's fun. And if you actually want to sit down and have an actual like intellectual thing, there's a deeper level to Total Recall than I would get from RoboCop. So I'm gonna go. Pardon?
There's also 3 boobs.
That's it. That's it. End of discussion. 3 boobs. Done.
Message.
Bye. No, but seriously, like, no, it's Total RoboCop really impressed me with a lot of the stuff that, because it's not my go-to. It's not my go-to movie. But it did really impress me with a lot of the categories in space. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, enjoyment factor, just how the pacing and everything that goes along with Total Recall, it's Total Recall. It's just the more fun movie. You can put it on the background. If no one's watched it, they can just watch it and enjoy it for just a fun action movie. Arnie doing Arnie shit, like that's fun. But if you start talking to them and probing, like, is it Recall or is it not Recall? Oh, I don't know. Oh, well, let's start talking about this now. And you start getting into the deeper aspects of Total Recall, then I think Total Recall definitely takes this. Hands down, Total Recall, better movie in my opinion for enjoyment.
All right, Steve, what do you think?
Go, guys, by the way.
Oh, you got to go. Okay, Owen, thank you so much.
Finally, yes, finally.
Now you can start talking shit about it.
No, yeah. So Owen is on the Action Elite. We are on the Action Elite at least once a month doing a live stream. Steven and I and Sean and Charlie are all on Action Elite doing a lot of streams. You also have the website, which is theactionelite.com. So make sure you guys are all on that. Owen, do you have anything planned coming up for streaming wise? Like we're gonna do one at some point this month.
Yeah,
right?
we're going to do one in the next couple of weeks. Like I said, I'm just waiting to find a replacement for Serena, and then things can calm down at work. So it's crazy right now. But I thought we were going to talk Split Second in the next few weeks, the Rutger Hauer film.
100%.
So we'll do that. Have we ever talked about Cliffhanger?
No, but we can talk about it.
We'll do that after then, because
Sure.
I love the villains in that as well. So
Yep.
yeah, so
Owen, hit me up. We'll talk after off stream. Let me know.
yeah, you
Cool.
can jump in anytime, Brendan. You're always welcome.
Yeah.
But you need to accept my friend request on Facebook first.
I'll never listen. No, I'll never accept it. Never.
Oh, fuck you.
Oh my
All right,
God. All right. See you, man.
Bye.
All right. All right. So we got Owen's. Owen
Oh,
voted
thank
for
God
Total
he's
Recall.
gone, so we can have some fun in the stream. Jesus,
I can
I've been waiting for an hour, 2 hours and 14 minutes for him to leave, and he's finally gone. He's gone. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. We'll give him an outro.
You want some advice? Take your fancy clothes and your black silk underwear and go back to Disneyland.
Disneyland.
Yeah, I love Owen. I love Owen. I love Owen. Owen's great.
Take away from that, yeah.
Owen's one of the rare greats in this stream space. Owen's great.
All right. So Owen voted for Total Recall. Brennan has voted for Total Recall. Steve, what do you think? Which one do you like more?
Total Recall.
All
The thing is that I can't forget when I first saw this movie how horrified I was at the murder of Alex Murphy. I actually don't think Paul Verhoeven made this movie to be enjoyed. I think he made it to be to like as a satire. I think he made it as a very like thoughtful thing, but I don't think he ever sat there and said, I hope people enjoy this good cop getting murdered by these people who are laughing while they're killing him. Right? Like, I think it was more like an intellectual exercise for him as opposed to a theatrical one. And Total Recall is it's just fun to watch. It's just like Schwarzenegger doing his thing. I think Brennan talked about it. You got cool characters. You got a really good storyline. You got a really awesome setting. It's an enjoyable film. I actually don't enjoy Robocop. I appreciate Robocop, but I don't really enjoy it that much. Because of the subject matter.
Right.
It does hit hard, man. Like that, like I said, like that murder scene when Murphy gets murdered, it's really hard to watch. It's really legitimately hard. And like, if you guys are saying like the director's cut is even worse, like just the normal fucking cut, man. It's disturbing. This is legitimately disturbing to watch. And I think, like, man, I watch it. This is not a fun. This part is not fun. His hand blown off, and yeesh.
Okay, Bill, what do you think? Which one do you like more?
To add what Brennan said. Also, do you remember the scene where the corporate exec who was trying to, I don't remember the names of everybody in Robocop, but when the corporate guy was he was trying to push Robocop over Ed 209, and then he was at his home celebrating with blowing hookers.
Yeah, with the hookers, and he's like doing coke with their tits and stuff. Yeah.
And what do you call it? The guy comes in and he like shoots him in the knees and then sets up the videos. Like, that was also a scene where I'm just like, oh, don't kill this guy. Is there what can this guy say to get out of this?
Yeah.
Like, it really was an intense movie where like they were just
it's
trying
very
to,
intense.
Yeah.
And that's a good point, Bill. Like, I'll just say, like, I really
Bill killed
like
it. Bill
Bob
killed it. That
Morton.
was good.
Like, as much as a corporate douchebag as he was, he is the father of RoboCop, and I felt a connection to this guy because of how he sort of had him come out and I think it was Charlie's talking about how he's like, oh yeah, they're cheering for you or whatever, and it's like, I really like Bob Morton. It was a gut shot when he got killed.
But he still wasn't a good guy. He took a living man. Like you guys pointed out at the one point, and I'd forgotten about this, where he says, oh, yeah, we're going to pronounce him dead. He was awake when they pronounced him dead.
Yeah.
So you
He was awake. He was,
You got to think of the underlying context there.
Yep.
They just said he was dead so they can keep him. And like being in the military, I
The
know
thing
that's
is-
the kind of stuff that they can do.
The thing is, they sent like Murphy to that friggin' zone in Detroit for that specific purpose because they knew that he was like the guy that would, if he got murdered, he would be perfect the person for RoboCop. They sent him for that reason. which is even more fucked up
They
if you think about
in
it.
there. We just have to wait for the perfect.
Right,
time.
exactly. They sent him because he's the perfect guy. That he's the guy that we want to be a RoboCop, and we'll send him there, and that's when the movie picks up and he gets murdered.
So Bill, sorry, you're saying Total Recall?
I am going to say, however, Total Recall, just because you actually have to look. Like, if you're a kid, you can't see that there's a plot to RoboCop. It's just all action.
Yeah.
And sorry, I saw it when I was a kid, and I'm always going to go by my first viewing, right? But from the very onset, you could tell that there's a story for Total Recall, and I'm just going to say this: I think that the hardest movie, the hardest book to write, the hardest any story to tell is a spy thriller. I don't think that there's anything more difficult to write than something like that, and that's exactly what they did with Total Recall. So TLDR, it's TR.
Even yeah. Bill, you know that. Even when he does that, when Schwarzenegger does the pen on the fucking thing, he's like Melina, and he writes it himself.
Yeah, like
and it's like wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's like, oh my god, the writing's the same. Like, this is my writing. Oh my god, what's going on? This is crazy.
You can't trust anybody. You know, anybody.
You can't. Yeah, everyone's a big. Yeah.
The Benny thing was like the ultimate thing for me. It's like,
that
oh,
was
he's a mutant. He's got a stake in it.
But
he was bought, and it's like, I don't know what to do.
Yes.
He was bought and paid for.
I expected Melina to turn around and put a bullet in his head at the very end. Is this a dream? No.
All right. I'll go next, and I'm going next because I'm going to say RoboCop. Look.
Bye.
There's a lot of intellectual reasons to like Total Recall, but RoboCop is a cop. He's a good guy. He's a superhero. He's a comic book character. He's a toy. This is J-Man's wheelhouse. It's like I wanted to be a cop. I want to be an archaeologist and a cop. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a cop. When I was a bit older, and I realized that that's a dumb idea. I wanted to be an archaeologist. But look, he's a cop. He's a figure. I'm like RoboCop. I'm with him all the way. When it comes down, I have my system to rate movies. But if you ask me casually, the first thing I go with is the characters. And I picked RoboCop easy for the characters. That's the first.
How's it easy?
Look,
How's it easy?
it's like Christopher Reeve is Superman. That's it. He is Superman in my eyes. Oh, part 3 is a bit cheesy. Oh, part 4, there's some goofy stuff. I don't care. It's Superman flying around doing stuff. This is RoboCop. He's going around killing the bad guys. This is the best. Total Recall, he's on a mystery trying to figure things out about himself and all that. I'm like, well, I don't care as much about you figuring out what's about yourself versus you're killing these assholes that killed you. And these guys are all scum anyways. Even if they didn't kill RoboCop, he should have killed them all. I had zero feelings when Bob Morton died. He doesn't give a crap about anybody. All he cares about is getting ahead of the game. He'll do whatever he's got to do. Lose the arm. I thought we said total body, lose the arm. He doesn't give a shit about RoboCop. He's got the hookers. It's like, I don't care about you. Him and Dick Jones are the same person. They're just trying to screw each other over to get to the old man. They don't give a crap. Bob Morton got killed. Like, oh, well, the guy got killed. What do you got to do? That's life in the big city, as he said to Johnson.
Kenny. About Kenny.
And also said he put a CD in freaking in like 1987. He put a CD in the thing. That's another thing that's kind of cool. How
that is cool.
Beethoven
like that whole
predicted
wall,
the future.
That whole wall.
Yeah,
audio video.
He killed it. He killed the future predictions, man.
Like. I have a minor. I like he fights another robot. Like I don't know. Like it's two robots fighting each other. This is like everything I've ever wanted in a movie. If you just said quickly list off what you want, I'm like, here's everything I want, and then they gave it to me in RoboCop, and they made it 100 minutes.
Okay, Jay.
Yeah.
So go character swap.
Right.
Character swap. Put fucking put Arnie into RoboCop and friggin' what's his face into
I don't think it would work.
Hauser.
I don't think it would work because the thing is that Arnold Schwarzenegger to me is almost a character on his own. I know he's an actor and I love Schwarzenegger and Conan. He's my hero. First tattoo ever was Conan. I own every Schwarzenegger. But I watch his documentaries. I bought his book on like his bodybuilding. So
the movie works if you switch the characters. If you put friggin'
and it's not the actors. It's like I like RoboCop himself. I can't imagine someone else. Fair. I'm with RoboCop. These guys killed him. I'm like, I want to see him kill. It's a revenge picture.
Yeah. It's a very good hero arc. The hero arc is very good with RoboCop. It's
And
like he's the hero. He gets fucked up, and then he has that redemption arc where he comes up and he destroys everyone.
No, you're getting too intellectual. Go, Bill, what were you going to say? And then I'll address what he said.
I was just going to say we've kind of already seen him as Robocop in the original Terminator movie, and even then, you barely remember any other characters, but you remember Arnold. Arnold
he's awesome.
An actual presence. Like, I don't know if anybody plays Dungeons and Dragons, but everybody wonders what's charisma. It's not just how you look. It's your actual presence. When you walk into a room, people just kind of, oh, that's the guy. Like, that's charisma, and that's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He maxes charisma in every way. As a freaking Terminator who barely has any lines, you know this is the freaking main guy.
This is a badass. This is a badass.
So if you can imagine him being Terminator or being Robocop, all those other characters would come down. And
you're right. You're right. But you're right. You're 100% right. But reality is what it is. Like it's.
And I don't think I'd feel as bad. I think my mind would tell me, well, Schwarzenegger is just going to kill these guys. Versus Murphy seems small and kind of a good-hearted cop. He had a kid and family, and he got killed by these assholes. This really sucks. And it's Lewis. She doesn't call for backup and all that too. Like it's a bunch of things. And Brennan, you were getting too intellectual. I don't care about any of it. I understand that as an adult. I'm talking about a little kid. I'm like, it's fucking Robocop. He's kicking ass out of people. I love Robocop. I don't care about, this is the enjoyment category. I don't care about the reasoning why. I love Robocop. I want him to win. If you said what, and I know what Sean's going to say. I know what Charlie's going to say probably. It's like,
the fucking wiener.
Jeez.
It's like,
I wonder what's going to go on here.
No, because look at this.
What's it like under that
what
bus?
What do you want? No, I'm not throwing anybody on the bus. I'm collecting them onto the bus.
No, I want that. I want to hear it.
It's like, look, there's are you going to buy the Robocop play sets or are you going to buy the Total Recall plays? It's like Total Recall.
Robocop %. Yeah, if I'm in play sets, Robocop.
Right. It might be a better film, but I'm talking about enjoyment. Robocop's Robocop. And I had a lot of enjoyment in it because I had an enjoyment of saying, oh, he's gonna get it's like a rape revenge flick. They rape the crap out of him, and then he goes and gets revenge on everybody, and it works on that level. Plus, there's robots.
The Crow. That's actually a good comparison.
Why does Detroit always have that?
Because it's Detroit. It's Detroit. It's Detroit.
Detroit 3 months ago.
It's Detroit.
I was gonna say, have you been to Detroit lately? I did see Motown.
Detroit is Detroit. Right.
Sean, what do you think?
I'm fucking last again.
No, because
Charlie,
we're out of time.
What's going on?
Yeah. All right, well, let's get out, everybody.
Why last? Jesus, why?
I'm pretty sure what they're gonna say. So go ahead, Sean. Say Robocop so we can continue to Charlie.
It's Robocop.
Of course.
You fucking disgust me, Sean. You disgust me.
I think that maybe I should see a psychiatrist because
you should.
I wasn't disturbed by the violence in Robocop, and I don't think it's unpleasant either. I think it's visceral and exciting. And look, it's exciting. It's a movie. It's intense. I love when he shoots that guy in the balls through that woman's skirt. That's
exactly.
Awesome.
Screw that guy.
It's like. And you know, like as intense as his murder is, like you're not stupid. You know you're watching RoboCop, right? Like he's gonna turn to RoboCop and kill these guys. Like
right.
It's like it's bad, but like he's gonna come back and kill these guys.
How old were you when you saw this movie?
Pardon?
I don't know.
How old were you when you saw the movie, Sean?
I was maybe 10 or 11. It came out when I was 10.
Really? And you still thought that when you first saw this movie?
Yeah, but it's weird. I was thinking about this the other day. The 1980s was a weird time in that, like, Disney was not really making movies that people watched. And so something like Gremlins and stuff was like a kid's movie. And I guess we were just raised harder. I don't know. I don't really... like RoboCop. I mean, it wasn't a surprise to me that it was toys and figures and stuff. It's like that's the way things were, and I wasn't really. I didn't have nightmares about it, and I didn't think about the lives of the people. It's bad. I didn't think about the lives of the people that died in these movies because I knew it was a movie.
It was a movie.
I can watch the news and be disturbed by what I was seeing because I knew it was real. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. But like, look, Total Recall is fun as well. But I watch RoboCop more
all the time.
And it's kind of like the template for the superhero movie. I mean, I know Superman the movie is, But like this is the template that a lot of movies like used after this and Darkman are the two templates for a lot of superhero movies after them.
Darkman's good.
And it's like, and even when I love when Bolliger and Dick Jones are like in that office, and Dick Jones is telling him, well, you know, and Bolliger's like, he's gonna leave, and he goes, there's gonna be 2 million people that, you know, that come through those doors, like building this, and he stops. It's like the two villains kibitz, and it's great. All that stuff is good. I get a lot. I want to revisit a lot of that stuff. I get a lot of enjoyment from it. So I don't know. I think RoboCop. I enjoy it more. Look, I love Total Recall, but I enjoy RoboCop a lot more. What can I tell you? I don't know.
Yeah.
ED 209 is awesome, and the
ED 209 is great.
You know,
it's great.
Then he upped the ante in part 2 with Kane. Anyways, yeah.
Oh, to part 2. It might be the greatest like 15 minutes in cinema history when they're friggin' going through the different friggin' versions of the new RoboCop, and everyone's like friggin' malfunctioning and shoots himself in the head, and the other one's like going crazy, and they it might be the greatest friggin' scenes in history of cinema. I love it. The Ghostbusters, they're friggin' RoboCop 2. It's so good.
I wanted to buy Magnavolt Lethal Response. I'm like, I love Magnavolt. There's no noise. There's no need to trouble the police. This is perfect.
It won't even drain down your battery.
All right, Charlie, say RoboCop so we can conclude this.
Charlie, don't say RoboCop. Don't say RoboCop.
Look, man, I don't have Douglas Quaid tattooed on my arm.
No, exactly. That's
Reported for biasness.
I have
reported.
Total Recall on a comic book, and I have Total Recall trading card. That's all I have. I have RoboCop hanging up behind me everywhere. I have the action figures. I have the movie in every possible iteration. I do want to say you guys had a little bit of a flaw in your argument about, walk into a room. Does Arnold walk into a room and have Arnold and RoboCop walk into a room? How many people are going to flock to Arnold, and how many people are going to flock to RoboCop?
100% Arnold.
No, RoboCop.
100% Arnold. 100% Arnold. 100%.
Kid in
100%
that room.
WCW. In what year? Charlie? What year?
The ring with Sting in WCW.
What year?
He like rips him out of that cage or whatever.
What year are you living in, Charlie?
Wow.
Sex with furniture. What do you think?
Right.
Yeah. That sounds like his take.
Kids are going to flock to RoboCop.
What fucking universe are you living in?
This universe, the universe where RoboCop is king. RoboCop wins everything. The poll, we had to nitpick this fucking movie for me to put Total Recall.
The actor with the character. No.
No,
you take the
we're
Terminator.
talking.
You take the Terminator with RoboCop.
Fine.
People are gonna be like, "Holy shit, Skynet!"
Stand Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator.
No, I can't. You can't. No. We're not getting Terminator into this. No,
Arnold. You put RoboCop out there, and everyone flocks to RoboCop. Okay,
I don't.
RoboCop, hands down. The suit is the character. Like, that is what it is. It is RoboCop. There's a reason when I saw that standee walking into the theater as an 8-year-old, and you're just and I've seen Arnold Schwarzenegger on a standee, and it looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but that robot standing in front of me just has a presence, and it will forever be burned in my mind. I watch RoboCop constantly. It's always on in the background. Like, if I don't, I'm like, I don't.
It's on your freaking arm.
It's on my arm. It's 2 times on my arm.
It's badass. It's badass.
It's everywhere around me. My kids have watched it. It's just a fun fucking movie. I'm with everyone else. I don't give a shit about Bob Morton, because Bob Morton didn't treat RoboCop as his kid. That was his project. That was his material item.
Facts.
That got him higher up the chain.
That's
it was just another fucking step on the stone. You're right. You're right.
It was a one up on Dick Jones.
You're right.
Dick Jones even goes, I remember being like you. I used to call the old man.
Yeah, when he's in the washroom. Yeah. He's talking shit. Yeah.
all we're watching is the progression of, corporate America and douchebaggery. So, and when Murphy dies, fuck yeah, that's brutal. I'm not cheering, but I'm like, this is insane. I know this is going to be RoboCop. And now there's a drive for RoboCop to basically break out of his programming and go after everyone that murdered him in the most vicious way.
But it's such a basic friggin' hero arc, though, is it not? Though,
right? Because that's what
it's very basic. Like he gets fucked up, and he has his friggin' his comeuppance, and then he ascends, and then he
normally
destroys the people that he destroyed him, and then he does his thing.
You listen to me, RoboStan. RoboCop barely saved Detroit, and in one movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger saved 2 planets.
Mars, and thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill. Thank you.
How did that happen?
Or it was all a dream and it never fucking happened.
How did that happen?
Thank you, Bill. Is this someone here speaking truth?
I can move the screens. I can move the screens around. Yeah. So I put you nerds on the bottom.
Or RoboCop didn't end with, or maybe none of this happened and Alex Murphy died on the operating table. No, that motherfucker's RoboCop, and Quaid may be sitting there at the end of the movie. We don't know.
But he's still a badass. But this still kills shit.
Also, is there Total Recall 2?
Kiss my ass.
Is there Total Recall 3? No, sir, but there's a ton more RoboCop out there. RoboCop, that's my vote. I don't know if anyone knew that.
And it just kept getting worse.
So Jay, I think we're pretty sure Charlie is on the Total Recall side, so we're chilling with that. So that's fine. And so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 versus 1. So we're good.
So there's okay. So the poll. Let's look at the poll. 24 votes. 71% go for RoboCop.
71% are fucking idiots.
So power numbers, baby.
Yeah. Power numbers. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Bob Morton made a mistake. It's time to erase that mistake.
I remember. I will say this favorable to RoboCop is I do remember some lady telling me one time, hey, so Titanic beat Star Wars in the number of amount of money they made. I was like, that's at the movie theater. Are they making giant Titanic half toys or Jack toys and stuff like that? Like Star Wars blows Titanic out of the water.
Where's
quite
my
literally.
Jack action figure
there's
back
that.
here? Where's my Rose action figure?
So I will say, as far as like merchandising ability, and Jay made a good point about the idea that it is the superhero arc, and so there is that. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, as far as just the better movie and a thinking man's movie, you guys on top can, it's cool.
My cards,
I'm with Bill.
My cards actually came with a piece of Mars according to the label, so
you got Mars in your hand.
Those are some crazy edibles you got there.
You bought it.
I did. I'm a mark for trading cards.
Again, you could say like Total Recall is a better film, but we're talking about the enjoyment category, which is RoboCop is like just like, to me it's like it's a superhero. It's superheroes. I don't know, and I like superheroes. He
kills it. No, he kills it. Jay, I think at the end of the day, this whole entire thing is comes down to your preference, and there's no wrong answer.
No,
there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer because I love rewatching RoboCop because when I've watched
I got both
Total Recall so many times in my life. That is my go-to. Total Recall, honestly, Total Recall and Predator are my 2 go-to movies that I can just put on and just enjoy and just 100% enjoy. And rewatching RoboCop, I'm like, this movie is severely underrated for what it is. They see the satirical commentary, like you were saying, everything about this movie is fucking amazing. But for me, the very slight edge will be be to fucking Total Recall.
Well,
Very
Total
excited.
Recall officially won in the sense that it won in the story, pacing, artistry, and enjoyment categories based on. So to look back, we're going to end off in a few minutes. Just before we end off, let's just check the poll one more time. Still 71%.
What is the poll? What's the
24
poll?
votes. So
Get on.
24 votes, 71% RoboCop. But so just to reflect back, RoboCop, they were very close on story. Total Recall won the edge on that one. Pacing, Total Recall pretty much took the whole category.
Pacing was sick. Yeah.
Artistry, Total Recall took the whole category. Characters, RoboCop took the entire category. And then again, it was very close, but Total Recall. And because I go by characters, to me, it's like when the movie is done, yes, it's a great story and whatever. Do I want to see more with these characters? That's what it comes down to me as a human being. It's like, I don't need, and I know the nature of Total Recall is that we don't need any more with that character. But the thing is that I'm pumped up for these things. It's like, I want to have another Friday 13th movie. I want another Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I saw 10. I can't wait. It's like, I want more Indiana Jones movies. Oh, I got to recast him. Recast the guy. I want more James Bond.
So you like cheese?
Sure. Whatever it is. I want more Superman. I want more RoboCop. Yes, I know. I love RoboCop 2. I know RoboCop 3 wasn't that good. TV series, Dark or Prime Directives was okay. Yeah. Whatever. It's like, but I still want more RoboCop. I saw the remake in the theater. It's like, didn't like it. I don't care. When they do the next RoboCop, I'm going to see that one in the theater immediately. It's because it's RoboCop. It's like, to me, he is a childhood. He is up there. He's up there with all those guys. Like Wolverine. He's up there with all of those guys. For me, I don't see him as disconnected. Like, I'm like, he's in Marvel Comics or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or so. Yeah. It's a superhero.
Yeah. I could see Arnold just being like another Arnold movie, but with RoboCop, it's actually a separate entity from everything else in like the 80s and 90s.
It's a franchise.
It's and Conan.
They fucked it up in RoboCop 3 and RoboCop the remake. They fucked it up.
And we're not going to really get into it, but the whole thing is like they saw that kids were and kids were liking it. And it was becoming a big thing. So they're like, well, we need to lighten it up now because lightening it up, it took away.
Just like the last two movies, 100%. Which were violent, like, they didn't make that connection.
They didn't make that connection.
That's what we wanted to see.
Yes, exactly.
Here's a flaw that I'm seeing. You guys keep going to part 2, part 3, this and that and the other thing. I thought we were just talking about the movie. And
and it is awesome, and I like.
We're deviating. We're deviating right now because it's the end of the stream. We're deviating, but yeah.
Because I'm sorry, RoboCop on a jetpack, kiss my ass.
It's retarded. It's stupid. It's stupid.
It's just one of those things. It's like so you to pick and choose. I'm saying just of the themselves.
I think I saw the. I think it was sorry, Jay. I think it was Red Letter Media that said that if you took RoboCop 3 and put it in RoboCop 1, that's what it would be if you put it in any other director's spot. If it wasn't Verhoeven, if it wasn't Verhoeven in RoboCop 1, you would get RoboCop 3.
Right.
Because he had that sense of satire and direction that very few people had in that time frame, especially in the 80s and early 90s. Verhoeven was friggin' like untouchable in that time. But if you had someone that didn't know what they were talking about, you would have RoboCop 3 in RoboCop 1. And I think that's something that
I'll say this. I know it's a generic thing, and then we'll end off. But RoboCop is an original idea. Total Recall, it's still Philip K. Dick,
but it's like so small amount, so small.
And you can work off of that, right? And it's Paul Verhoeven on both movies, so we're not saying he's crap, but RoboCop is, for him to be such a big character, based really on one excellent film. The second movie is still good in my opinion, but people don't like it as much in 3 and 4 and the TV show and all this other crap nobody cares about and the cartoon and all that. But to build a franchise based on just one successful film is pretty awesome. Like that, I mean, really, it's just one great film. It's not even like like other superheroes where there's a bunch of movies to build off.
So we said Verhoeven is one of the most disrespected directors in the history of fucking film.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I don't think people give him the respect and love that he deserves. I think he's been very disrespected his entire life as a director.
Yeah,
because we have Total Recall, we have Ghostbusters, we have Total Recall, we have RoboCop. We have so many fucking films.
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers is one of my favorite films I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He even had the fucking. He even had these practical effects fall over.
Right.
It's all fall over. Everything that fucking Paul Verhoeven does, and even like the socialist commentary that he had both in RoboCop and in Starship Troopers. It's the same.
Yeah.
Starship Troopers is great.
You could argue that they're in the same universe.
Why not? All three.
You could argue that.
The same universe.
They all
You
three.
could argue that.
I mean, there's
Starship Troopers and RoboCop in the same universe.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
All right, guys. So, Brennan, is there anything that you're?
I do fuck all. I actually might start doing some streams from like Counter-Strike Go and like just doing some live streams of that. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing with my channel, but overall, I'm doing fuck all. So just Jay, you guys do your own thing. You guys are amazing. No, honestly, you guys are amazing. You guys know so much about comics, movies, and everything. I just love it. I love talking. Jay, I come in the streams all the time.
Yeah.
Sean and Steven, you guys know I come in every fucking time you guys are live. I come in. Charlie, I love you. Fucking Bill, I love you guys. I do nothing at all. But I'll support you guys until the end of the world. I'll support you guys until the end of the world because I love you guys. You guys are so amazing. You guys kill it every time. So thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Steve. We've got everyone's links are in the description of this video, plus in the chat. I did it a couple of times, and even when you're not here, I still post all of your links in all of my videos, unless there's a video that I'm doing that I might think you might not want to be associated with, so that I don't put your links. I don't put your links in that one. But any other video I do, whether you're on stream or not, I put everyone's links here in all my videos, just as a hey, check out these other guys who I like.
We're a community.
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu.
So Steve, where's your? Okay, there you are. Okay, so Steve, what are you up to?
I'm just working on putting together the next book. It's going to be Magic and Demons, which is going to be basically a compilation of pulp stories. I created 2 characters when Sean, Jay, and I were doing a magazine called Into the Void. They've been sitting there. I sort of wrote a few after that, and I'm saying, well, I might as well collect these because my next project after that is going to be a World War II thriller, which is going to take me a while because when you start doing a historical novel, you got to be accurate, especially when you're dealing with World War II Germany and concentration camps. So I'm going to collect these stories and then tackle that one, and that's going to be, the next. It's probably going to be a Mount Everest for me to tackle.
Awesome. I want to do Spy Smasher so badly. If I had to pick one comic book character to do, I would do Spy Smasher. That's like that would be my one, because then nobody would really care. So I could do a couple of cool.
Yeah, no one owns it, so.
They made a female Spy Smasher in DC. So.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Professor Bill from Comic Book University. What it is? What are you up to?
I actually have something to talk about a little bit.
Oh my God! This is crazy.
What the fuck?
First time ever.
Awesome. What's going on?
Besides the fact that I've got a channel that sometimes I do things on, I haven't been approved yet, but I'm actually starting a Kickstarter pretty soon.
Let's put you on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, full screen.
Yeah, there we go. Puzzles and Perils, Book of Riddles. I'm actually going to be talking about a whole bunch of. I'm going to have like 300 plus riddles in there, talking about different kinds of riddles, talking about how to actually formulate these riddles for role playing games. And I've got a series of different books.
That's cool.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people. It's the one thing in role playing games that people just don't usually do, and it's like, dude, you can have a riddle just to avoid fighting the Iron Golem up on the wall. You could do a riddle just to avoid or to find out which passage to go to. This one leads to goblins. This one leads to such and such.
Yeah.
So there's
cool.
It's one of the most overlooked parts of role playing games, and it's universal for any kind of role playing game. But yeah, so I love riddles. I've collected them since I was a kid, like my own personal. So there's more than 300 unique riddles.
Wow.
Here,
awesome.
So yeah,
Jesus.
I need those. We were doing Gamma World. That's why whenever you see these guys change to their icons, you'll see like a weird picture.
Yeah, hold on. Let me switch.
That's their.
There it is. This one. See it, man? That's my Corbin. That's my Corbin icon.
Yeah, that's your icon. And then everyone's got their random icons that they created for the various.
Nobody even talks about Gamma Worlds anymore. I used to love that game.
We just tried it. Is pretty neat.
No, Jay got me into like role playing games. It's freaking so much fun.
Yeah, there's a mutated cheetah guy.
Yeah, it's the mutated cheetah. Yeah, there we go.
Awesome. Okay, well that's a damn great book, and I have not seen that. I have not seen.
Let's
that
go.
anywhere.
Let's go.
Like I just on the closest I saw something called Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. I don't know if you've seen that. It has like 2 pages of puzzles, and I thought, and literally, I was like, I actually want a book of all puzzles because a lot of the times I need something quick. So I you know what I mean? And it's like, if you've got 300 where I could just go in and be like, oh, I'll use this one because, like, that's perfect. No one has done any book like that. When Tasha's Cauldron of Everything came out, I was like, oh, I got to buy a D&D book. And I'm like, there's only like 5 pages of puzzles. I'm like, oh, and there was like different classes and all this other crap. I'm like, I've got 4,000 classes. I don't need more classes. It's like, I need puzzle ideas and nobody has that. So that's actually a damn great idea. So yeah, for sure. Joe Dog, what's going on, dude? You missed all of it. Total Recall 1 in the thing.
Total Recall is the best movie in the world fucking rankings. The fucking Total Recall, the best. At least Charlie, don't give me that look. Don't be like Charlie. Don't give me that look.
I'm gonna have to mute the mic here. It's
don't.
All right, so Charlie, you've got your podcast. What's going on in the podcast?
This month is the month of Neon, where we're picking movies based on color palette. We're covering Psycho Gorman, Mandy, Neon Maniacs, and rounding out the month with Turbo Kid.
It's all good.
Definitely got a feel this month, so we're doing some fun stuff.
Nice. I don't own Neon Maniacs, but I've seen it. I own the other ones, of course.
We haven't recorded our episode yet, but there's going to be quite a discussion about that movie. So
now there's a clip in Neon Maniacs that if you pause it in the right spot, Mr. Miracle is in it from DC. There's a costume party and someone's dressed as Mr. Miracle.
Yep, I think I know exactly where it is. Yeah,
I was literally stunned. I'm like, because like usually you see someone dressed as the Flash or Batman or something like. Mr. Miracle, that is interesting.
That's a deep cut.
That's niche.
Yeah.
That's niche.
Very, very much so. So yeah,
speaking of niche,
so give me back my action and horror movies podcast. So check that out.
All right. I was going to say, speaking of niche, Sean, what's going on?
I don't see that as a bad thing.
Oh shit! Oh man! Oh geez, you got wrecked.
I just put any old thing on my channel. So I've got a Transformers catalog thing coming up. And I've had it for a week now. I just haven't put it up, so whatever. And some other things, probably comic books and stuff. Just off topic and on topic. You're talking about like if you pause in a certain place. I totally for years missed the Jack in the Box thing in the background in Total Recall. They go to that one it's Venusville or whatever.
Yeah.
Jack in the Box, like, and the thing is, as a kid, like here in Canada, we didn't have Jack in the Box.
We don't have that, yeah.
So I recognize it, and I'm like, oh, that must be it's not part of the world. They probably someone just put it up there just as a joke or something like that.
Probably.
But it's the neon Jack in the Box side.
Yeah.
Did you know that in Total Recall that Earth has Coke and Mars has Pepsi? So there's actually 2 different drink flavors.
Oh shit, for real?
Yeah.
You can.
I'm gonna look that up. Yeah, that's sick.
Direct everybody. This is not a sponsor or anything, but I direct everybody to Rob Ager. He has two channels. Rob Ager does in-depth analysis of films. Some of them are I've actually paid for a few, and I bought his 2001 analysis, which is like 6 or 7 hours. I watched the whole thing. I bought a C-3PO analysis from Star Wars because I love C-3PO, and he explains how C-3PO is like a surrogate for the audience, and he explains how everything it's so awesome. Anyways,
Jesus, you guys are fucking nerds.
He did a bunch of stuff for Total Recall, and some of it is free. So if you go to one of his channels, he does the products of Mars. Yep. He does the products of the Total Recall.
Oh shit, that's pretty cool.
What is this from? Like all the logos and all of the like company logos and everything.
So send it please.
Just look up Robager. He's got a couple of channels, so they'll both Rob space Ager. All right. So for me, next time you'll see me is Monday on Clobberin Times, talking about Bob Haney on Earth B, Brave and the Bold 112. a week from today, the first ever of the Fourth World stuff that we're going to be covering every Friday. So Fourth World Friday starts next week on my birthday. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So that is it. Make sure you guys are following everybody here. Be cool. And that's it. Until next time.
Best.
See you guys. Awesome.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.